South Jersey's official play-by-play home of the Eagles, Sixers, and Flyers.
At 0 point would I ever consider not being a fan of the team.
97.3 ESPN, WENJ, WENJ HD, Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally!
This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right?
Yeah. Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity.
Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone!
Josh Hennig.
Welcome into Flyers Playoff Game Day. Also, tonight, WrestleMania 42. Tomorrow, Sixers playoffs, game number 1. And on top of all of that, you know the NFL draft's only a few days away. We're going to get to it all for the next 3 hours here on Hanging with Hennig. 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Streaming live on YouTube and X. Glad to have you guys on board the show today. Here's what we got on tap for you. Text board is open as always at 609-403-0973. Join the conversation. Why? Because I need predictions. Are the Flyers going to win? And if they win, what's it going to be? They're going to win in 5 games, 6 games, 7 games. You guys let me know. That's number 1. If the Sixers lose, by how much are they losing this series? I want predictions. And if you guys got some WrestleMania predictions, I got those as well. As I told Billy Schweib a few minutes ago here in the locker room on 97.3 ESPN, this is a no Phillies zone. Unless somebody texts in with an amazing analysis or point, we are not going to acknowledge, we are not going to talk about the pathetic, embarrassing piece of garbage that is the Philadelphia Phillies. And that's all I got to say about it. Because we got too many cool and exciting things to talk about here on 97.3 ESPN FM. And as always, we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio. Here's a lineup coming up. Andy McNamara is back. We'll get into the NFL draft with him. Plus, we have a little announcement to make, me and Andy, about a project we're both working on. At 1 o'clock, we will be joined by the one and only Jason Myrtetus. He will be joining us to talk about the Flyers. Of course, Jason Myrtetus, part of the Flyers Radio Network, host of Flyers Daily Podcast. Flyers tonight, 8 o'clock as the coverage begins right here on your home for all Flyers playoff games, 97.3 ESPN FM. Ivy Rehab injury report today coming up at 1:25. Got a couple of injuries on the diamond to talk about with Dr. Nate Stepney. Talk with him coming up. Also, 2 o'clock, Austin Krell covers the Sixers for Sports Illustrated. Most people assume the Sixers are not winning their playoff series, right? So what can we expect from the team this week, this series? We'll get into it with Austin Krell coming up at 2 o'clock. And then we'll do a full-blown WrestleMania 42 preview. We got ESPN reporter covering boxing, MMA, and pro wrestling. Andreas Hale joins us coming up at 2:25. We got a stacked show, and you guys can join the conversation. 609-403-0973. But we're going to bat off with, both of these teams, the Sixers and the Flyers, are in very different positions, right? Both of these teams are coming into the playoffs with very different perspectives. And I think what's very interesting about those different perspectives is it's not that the Flyers or Sixers are much better one versus the other. It's the reality that this is an organization in the Flyers that came into the season with zero expectations. The Sixers came into the season with a ton of hopes and expectations. And I think that's where we kind of have to draw the line here. It's not that we hate the Sixers and love the Flyers, or we only care about the Flyers, not the Sixers. We got to live in the real world. And the real world is the Sixers are just not as good as Boston. The Flyers can 100% beat the Penguins. Let me think for this way. I think the Boston Celtics are probably coming out of the Eastern Conference. I think the return of Tatum amplifies that team tenfold. A team that, even though they lost Porzingis and Drew Holiday and Al Horford from that team, the guys on that Celtics team have bought into Joe Mazzulla. They bought into him in a way that I don't think you can say about many coaches in basketball. They brought into his philosophy. They bought into his attitude. They have really invested themselves in this. So I'm not surprised the Sixers are a plus 800 underdog in their series. But I am surprised the Flyers are an underdog in their series. And I have to assume that they're an underdog because this is the first time I've been in the playoffs since, I know in the most literal sense it's 2020, but the reality is you got to go back to 2018. The bubble in 2020 I feel like doesn't count for hockey because it was just so upside down and topsy-turvy, and it felt like that was a... Listen, I'm not taking anything away from what happened in the bubble. I'm just saying it's a lot different when the fans are in the building, screaming their heads off at the top of their lungs. I put together a couple stats for the guys yesterday here on 97.3 ESPN. Mike Gill used some of them. I couldn't tell you how much Billy and Nick and all them used today, but I'm going to get them anyway. Flyers have the third most points in the NHL since the All-Star break. Penguins were tied for 16th. It's almost a 10-point gap. And while the Flyers, their power play has struggled all year, the Penguins are not much better. And the Penguins' penalty kill is bottom 10 in the NHL. It's actually even worse since the All-Star, since the Olympic break. Here's a big stat for you. The Penguins are one of the worst teams in the NHL in face-offs won. Since the Olympic break, the Flyers are winning over 50% of their face-offs. 14th best in the NHL. So the Flyers distinctly have the advantage in the face-off column. And while the Penguins are the best offense in the NHL since the Olympic break, the Penguins have also allowed the fourth most goals in the NHL. The Flyers turned their defense, which was not good before the All-Star break, to put it nicely. They have allowed the third fewest goals in the NHL since the Olympic break. The Penguins are one of the worst defenses in the NHL. So the key in this series is going to be getting the puck on net. And I think that's where the young guys come in. And while the Flyers have a pathway to victory, right? Porter Martone, Tyson Forrester, and Zegras, if those guys can get going, if you can get something from Mishkov in this series like you've gotten in the last 6 games. If you can go into this playoff series and cut down on the penalties, right? Don't make any dumb penalties in the series. You can win this series. The only pathway to victory for the 76ers in their series, and I hate even putting this out into the universe, someone's got to get injured. I hate saying it, but I'll say it. I'll be the bad guy. It's like Mike Gill brought this up before on the Sports Bash this week on 97.3 ESPN. When the Sixers went on that, insane run with guys like Andre Iguodala and all those guys 15 years ago, Derrick Rose got injured for the Bulls, and they were able to find a way to beat the Bulls, get to the next round. This Celtics team feels like a couple of injuries, a couple of bad breaks. That's the only way that the Sixers have a chance in this series. And I'm not hating on the Sixers. I just know Boston is playing at an elite level. Sixers, well, styles make fights. They were a good style matchup for them versus the Magic. Not so good against the Celtics. The Magic are a team that is built from the inside out. With guys like Paolo Banchero, Wendell Carter. They have a ton of big men. Wagner. They have a bunch of guys who are big. They're athletic. They like to work inside. They're an inside-out team. So they said, look, if Drummond and Bonin can play well, they could beat them. This is a bad style matchup for the 76ers. And so, if you are the Flyers, I hate putting it this way, but the hopes of the city are on you. No one has no expectations for the Sixers. They're playing a team that plays a style of basketball that you have a lot of trouble with. On the flip side, the Flyers are a team that is hot at the right time. And because they're hot at the right time, they're going against a Penguins team that frankly lived off of their early season success. And I love the article at ESPN.com this week. It's like, Sidney Crosby, future head coach. He's been coaching up the young guys. Look, Sid the kid, who's no longer a kid anymore, can coach up the young guys all he wants. But the reality is that you got a average to below average goaltender between the pipes in Pittsburgh. You have a team that is not as cohesive of a unit as the Philadelphia Flyers are right now. So I'm excited with the Flyers. I have no expectations for the Sixers. You guys let me know how you feel about this massive weekend in sports. 609-403-0973. That is the text board. Liam in Mays Landing chimes in and says, I'm a 6-year-old listener. I say, let's go Flyers. They are pretty good, and we will have a big party after they win for my 7th birthday. Well, Liam, happy birthday to you. I hope the Flyers win for you, your birthday. Also on the text board is 609-403-0973. Big Al from Violent chimes in. He says, I think Cody Rhodes wins, CM Punk loses tonight, and Brock loses. McAfee turns on Randy Orton. That's a fascinating twist. For those who didn't see it last night, SmackDown, they definitely pull back the curtain. For those who don't know, in wrestling it's called kayfabe, the idea that you want to keep the facade of the characters and the show, on one side of the curtain and don't bring it on the other side of the curtain, but they got to open the curtain up, and they had a nice little moment for Cody Rhodes and CM Punk, which is kind of why I think, Big Al, I'm starting to waffle. I was leaning toward you previously, but now I'm starting to wonder if you flip-flop those. There might be a scenario where Rhodes loses and Punk wins tonight. We'll get that a little bit more later in the show. More text coming in at 609-403-0973. Dan EHC chimes in, says the best thing that can happen is the Sixers get swept and embarrassed. Maybe only then will Josh Harris make real changes. Listen, Dan EHC, the problem with the Sixers is that you don't have a lot of room for changes unless you're going to make drastic moves. If you're the 76ers, there's really only two changes that can be made. You either have to hope and pray and ask God for help that you can unload one of these abomination contracts. Because let me tell you something. Nobody wants to pay Joel Embiid stupid money if he can't be on the floor, right? But if you find somebody to take on Joel Embiid for a bag of peanuts, you give up Joel Embiid for a bag of peanuts. That's the one miracle. You know, we need some miracles here. We need to turn some water into wine. We need some crossing the Red Sea. We need some goofy stuff to happen to the Sixers to make some major changes. Because unless you can unload Joel Embiid and or Paul George's contracts, this is basically the same roster next year. The only other big change that could happen is there a scenario where the Sixers owner, you mentioned Josh Harris, looks at Daryl Morey and says, I'm done with all y'all. I'm going to blow out the front office. I'm going to blow out the coaching staff. Bob Myers, you come in here. It's your world. I don't care. I'm going to go back to Washington for my Commanders team. Those are really the only changes that can happen to NHC. So you can hope they get embarrassed all you want. You can look at the Sixers and say they need to lose to force change. But I don't see a scenario where those changes happen unless some acts of God happen. 609-403-0973, the text board. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 973 ESPN FM, the 973 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank. See, don't forget we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, share it with your friends. Appreciate the support here on 973 ESPN. Text didn't leave their name, but they left a nice little paragraph on the Flyers and Penguins. He says, based on the 2026 pre-series analysis, the Penguins are projected as a favorite team against the Flyers, with numerous experts anticipating a series victory or even a sweep for Pittsburgh. Is this like a chat GPT text? This is very structured. While acknowledging the Flyers' robust, I'm gonna read it like I am a robot. While acknowledging the Flyers' robust goaltending and resilience, the Penguins' offensive depth and seasoned experience, particularly from Sidney Crosby, position them as the stronger contender. Pens in 7. This has got to be a chat GPT text, right? You guys can see over there the text board. If you guys pull up, I'm talking to Billy Schweim and Nick Earnshaw. They're still in the studio here. You guys look at this text. You can't tell me this person didn't punch this in to Copilot or ChatGPT or something. This is way too structured for a normal human being to text. Which is the exact reason why, texter, you're wrong. First of all, I don't care that numerous experts picked the Penguins to win. Because you know what? Those same numerous experts probably said the Flyers weren't making the playoffs, right? Those same experts probably said that the Flyers had, to coin the term from Vince McMahon, no chance in hell to make the playoffs. So the experts are not looking at reality. And the reality is the Flyers are one of the best teams in the NHL since the Olympic break. The Pens are not. And I mentioned earlier, styles make fights. The Penguins' defense stinks. When you're a team, okay, think about it this way. Of the 5 teams since the Olympic break that allowed the most goals in the NHL, only 2 of the 5 made the playoffs. One of them is the Penguins. Yeah, the Penguins' defense is garbage. And if there's ever been a time to walk into the playoffs with Zegras and Martone and Konechny and Mishkov and this team and the beat a team, it's the Penguins. I'm not saying the Flyers are winning the Stanley Cup. But to send in a ChatGPT generated text telling me that you're picking the Penguins to win the series, someone ring the bell on that guy. That's why he's anonymous. He's anonymous because he literally typed in the Microsoft Copilot. Tell me about the Flyers Penguins series. What was that? It's poor. Hopefully the rest of you out there listening and texting in at 609-403-0973 could do better than that guy. Boy, oh boy. Hang with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up, I will get into Eagles NFL draft talk. Of course, the A.J. Brown trade rumors won't go away. The draft is just days away. And, of course, you can hear the entire NFL draft right here on 97.3 ESPN. And don't forget, Flyers, 8 o'clock tonight. Sixers, 1 o'clock tonight or tomorrow. Phillies, Sunday night baseball, 7 o'clock. It's a big weekend for sports. And you know where you should go? You need to visit my friends over at Hang Time Bar and Grill. If you're having a party for the playoffs, bring the party to the back deck patio. It's absolutely beautiful back there, and they have a ton of brand spanking new local craft brews on tap. So bring your friends, cheer on the Flyers, the Sixers, the Phillies this weekend at my hangout spot, Hang Time Bar and Grill on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method. From youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
Veterans and active duty service members, when your call to service ends, your mission doesn't have to. Go from GI to IT in just a few months at My Computer Career. Prepare for a high-demand career in cybersecurity, protecting people, systems, and institutions from real cyber threats. Cyber warriors are needed now. Will you answer the call? Go to mycomputercareer.edu/CWP to learn more. That's mycomputercareer.edu/CWP, an elite CompTIA certification partner. VA education benefits are available to those who qualify.
We're here with our industry ace for roofing and siding, Iron Shield Roofing and Siding. For those who may not know you, what's your specialty?
We specialize in residential and commercial roofing and siding, including repairs, full replacements, and new installations. Our focus is on protecting homes and businesses with quality workmanship that lasts.
What makes Iron Shield different?
We bring over 30 years of experience. We're family owned and operated and fully licensed and insured. We also offer free inspections and estimates so customers can understand their options before making a decision.
Why is it so important to stay on top of roof and siding maintenance?
Your roof and siding protect everything underneath. Catching small issues early prevents bigger, more expensive problems later and helps maintain your property's value.
Where can people learn more?
Visit our website or give us a call for a free inspection at ironshieldroofingsiding.com, 609-358-3853. That's ironshieldroofingsiding.com, 609-358-3853.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatics Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for limited time only at RK. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Catch all the sports action this April at Vintner Social. With 20 big screen TVs, you won't miss a second of our Philly baseball, basketball, and hockey teams, championship golf action, and pro football draft. The deck is open, the drafts are ice cold, and the game day food and wing specials are ready for you. And when the game's on break, jump into the arcade and create your own action. Catch it all at Vintner Social, Vintner Avenue in Vintner. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
Spring Black Friday is on at the Home Depot. Save on grills and patio sets that will be sure to bring your hosting game up a notch. Fire up your feast with help from the Home Depot and save on grills. Like the Next Grill 4-burner propane gas grill was $249, now in special buy for $199. Or give everyone the best seat in the yard with the Hampton Bay Mayfield Park 4-piece conversation set for only $399. Save on grills and patio sets with low prices guaranteed during Spring Black Friday only at the Home Depot. Now through April 22nd, while supplies last. Exclusions apply. See homedepot.com/price match for details.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I want my picks back. I want David Putnam.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
All my picks back, and I want David Putnam just because I feel like it.
You're out of your mind.
Yeah, I am. Haven't I proved that already?
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. As always, we are being brought to you by my friends over at Prevail Nutrition. Remember, they changed their order schedules, so now you want your order Monday, you got to order by midnight tonight. You want your order on Fridays, you got to order by Wednesday night. Why? Because Ashley wants to make sure that you are getting exactly what you ordered, how you ordered it, and offering you the best possible meals. This is a way to make the process more efficient because Prevail Nutrition has been serving South Jersey for almost a decade. And now, whether you want to pick up an Absecon or delivery to Atlantic and Cumberland counties, plus Ocean City, and free deliveries on order to $50 or more. Be like me. Simplify your life and order from Prevail Nutrition. They're the best, and that's why they're the official meal prep service of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Learn more at prevailnutrition.club. Join me right now. We're going to transition to the football talk. We'll get back to the Flyers. Other topics coming up at 609-403-0970. Okay, Jason Myrtetus from the Flyers Radio Network will join me coming up at 1 o'clock. But right now, as promised, it's been a while. But it's also been a while because he's been busy. Andy McNamara is back on the show here on 97.3 ESPN. Andy, welcome in. How you doing, my friend?
Oh, man, great to be back on with you, Josh. And look, it's heading up to draft week, so I thought we got to be on together. Come on. We got to get this thing going.
So let's start with this, okay? Because we'll get to the Eagles stuff in a minute. Yeah. But for you, we all know that Mendoza's going 1, okay? It's like it's like the dumbest thing in the world. Like the Raiders should already have to hand in the card at this point.
Yeah, make it done, yeah.
But what is the biggest storyline for you after number 1? Is there a player you're looking at? Is there a team you're looking at? Because I know for you, with the work that you're doing, you're having to do a lot of analysis when it comes to betting odds and numbers, when it comes to a lot of this stuff. So has there been a number or a storyline that stood out for you thus far?
I'd say actually something that came out just the other day when it comes to post-combine, Reuben Bain Jr. Remember, Josh, the combine? People were calling him the Tyrannosaurus Rex arms, and he's too short. His arms aren't long enough to be a proper pass rusher. Well, note coming in via our friends at ESPN, that apparently there's been at his pro day a ton of longer arm measurements. And as silly as that sounds, that can elevate a guy who's got upper echelon talent. We all know that. But that can send a Ruben Bain to what possibly I'm seeing like 8, 9, 10 area to maybe top 6'5", right? Like I think Arvel Reese has been mocked pretty consistently. So I'd be him or David Bailey would kind of be my pick there, but don't be surprised. Ruben Bain Jr., riser in this case. And the other one is where does Jeremiah Love go? Because I think arguably offensively, talent-wise, non-quarterback, that guy could be the stud of the draft.
Jeremiah Love is fascinating as well because, there was a lot of hype going the last year about Ashton Genty, right? And then it's not that he had a bad year. He was just on a bad team.
Terrible offensive line. Yeah.
Right. So it's like, when you're looking at a guy like Jeremiah Love, there's got to be a part of you that looks around and is like, well, I like Jeremiah Love, but is he going to go to a team that uses him properly?
Well, that's the question. Lots of noise over the last week or so of Jeremiah Love to the Titans at 4. The Titans were so boring last year, Josh. Man, right? Like Cam Ward, he battled his way. The O-line was blah. Like no receivers. Come on. Give him a weapon. And Jeremiah Love can catch. He can run. He can pass protect. That is a true 3-down back. I've seen comparisons sort of Saquon Barkley. I liken him more. I'm not saying he's going to be, but I liken him more to Christian McCaffrey, Josh. I think this guy is a all-purpose utility player that a team like the Tennessee Titans desperately needs. Because if they don't upgrade their offensive line enough, you want him to run in between the tackles, but he can also pop out. And you can line him outside. You can line him inside. You can line him back. He's a weapon for a team that needs to support Cam Ward in year 2. I loved Ashton Genty. I think Love is a better prospect coming out than Ashton Genty, who should, by the way, for you fantasy football players, be getting a lot better with the Raiders' commitment to the O-line and with Fernando Mendoza and Brock Bowers. So I think there's some upside potential there for the Raiders too.
I think the other storyline coming in that you haven't mentioned yet, but I want to touch on with you is, does Ty Simpson go in the first round? Boy. I mean, this is not a good quarterback draft, right? This is a quarterback draft that, makes you question your life, right? And is there going to be a team that gets desperate and says, trade up into the first round and try to get Ty Simpson on that extended rookie contract? I am very fascinated to see what happens with that.
I think what we have to do, Josh, is we have to look at points in the draft where he could go, right? And we can kind of slot it from there. So, like we said, we know the Raiders, are taking Mendoza. Jets, they got 2 picks. They probably should take a quarterback, but boy, man, if you don't think Simpson's your guy, you're not taking him at 2. Cardinals, maybe 3's high for Ty Simpson, not there. Titans know they got their QB. Giants have their QB. Browns would be insane to get them at 6 or 24, which means it's possible. Commanders aren't going anywhere. Saints know. Chiefs know. Bengals know. Dolphins maybe 11 again. So we have to keep going down and down and scroll and see where does it make sense when we get, let's say, into the 20s. Pittsburgh Steelers. I would rather have Will Howard get a chance, So I think your line of somebody trading back in to the first round could be very interesting. Is it somebody like the Rams per se? A team who maybe doesn't need a guy now, but wouldn't be bad to have a guy like Ty Simpson sitting there in the wings waiting. So I'm kind of with you. There's those touch points where he could go, but boy, unless the team trades back up, I wouldn't be surprised at all if he falls out.
Talking with Andy McNamara joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Of course, he is the host of the Sick podcast. Of course, you can follow him on X at AndyMC81, on Instagram at AndyMC Sports. And Andy, let's take a moment before we get into the rest of this stuff. I know you got a bunch of work you've been doing lately with Lucky Rebel.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of cool stuff with them. Nice, cool sports book. And it's really been a fun experience because you get to be a little edgier, which, we find fun, right? So you get to kind of go more for those underdog looks, not the obvious, right? We're building out for the NBA slate later on today in the NHL one, finding those those great betting deals that maybe are a little, the mainstream sports book, maybe they're not paying attention to, but we're paying attention to them. And that's a ton of fun. So on social at Lucky Rebel _ I think that's on all their socials. So check them out. And myself at AndyMC81 on X, at AndyMC Sports on Instagram. Post a bunch of stuff there. Really cool site. Check them out.
And I don't know, are we allowed to announce what we're doing together, or is that still
It's not 100%. We can say what we want to do. we are.
Let's all right. Well, if it's not 100%, let's not give it away. Okay.
Yeah. We're hoping. We're hoping.
Don't count your chickens till they're hatched.
Well, in this business, my friend, we know that. We know that. That is for darn sure. Yeah.
Well, speaking of not counting before they're hatched, how about this Eagles stuff? Because the whole AJ Brown, will he get traded? Well, now he's probably getting traded after June 1st, right? And I think that's a very interesting predicament, because if you're a team that needs a wide receiver, right, going into the draft, do you still draft a receiver, right? Like, if you're the Eagles, do you draft like a Denzel Boston anyway? If you're a team like the Patriots who needs another receiver, do you still draft a receiver in the second or third or fourth round?
Right.
Or I know you're not allowed to do it, Andy, but is there a handshake agreement? Hey, draft this guy for me, and we'll trade A.J. Brown for that guy after June 1st.
And do a swap. Ooh, that'd be interesting. That'd be, there's always, I'm sure, wink, wink, nudge, nudges, right? Seeds planted at the combine and kind of grow from there. I think for the Eagles, to me, it's more of they're sitting back on not which teams, Josh, took a receiver, but which teams missed on the guy they wanted, right? Who wanted a Denzel Boston? Who wanted Mekhi Lemon? Who wanted Jordan Tyson and didn't get him? That's where Howie Roseman and company are going to go and be like, hey, you didn't get your guy, but I got a guy for you, And for the Eagles, at 23, it's interesting. Latest Mel Kiper draft says Blake Miller, who I like at that 23 spot. That's a nice pick. But there is a ton, Josh, of second and third round, specifically second round wide receiver talent. I talked to you about this guy before. Jacoby Lane, that's my combine crush this year, man. Oh, my. Like this guy, USC, the other USC wide receiver, not Mekhi Lemon. The numbers, 6'4" and 3/8", 200 pounds, 10.5-inch hands, 4.47 second 40, and a 40-inch vertical, which is, by the way, 5 inches higher than Denzel Boston, who's sorted to go in the first round. Jacoby Lane's a second or third round pick. Now, there's a lot of the combine stuff that doesn't really equate. Oh, standing broad jump. Okay. Well, a vertical is important, isn't it? Go up, get ball, come down with said ball. 5 inches. Boy, if I'm the Eagles and you see a Jacoby Lane sitting there later on, I would grab that guy today. He is sensational. But there's a lot of talent later, even like a Colby Young. And I think you can probably get 4th, 5th round, maybe later. Low production, but all the intangibles, 6'3", 215 out of Georgia. And you got a whole bunch of Indiana receivers cooking around too, right? So there's options. There's not outside of Carnell Tate, who to me is the true only day one number one. Doesn't mean the other guys can't grow into a number one, but the only true none. After that, you can have some. I don't feel you have to necessarily reach for a wide receiver.
I think the problem with the wide receiver class here, Andy, and by the way, folks can hear the NFL draft right here on 97.3 ESPN. Coverage begins 7 p.m. this Thursday night. When you look at the draft, there's usually a lot of people who, and I'm not trying to put words in people's mouth, but I'm kind of like translating it, okay?
Yep.
They're trashing a lot of positions in this draft class. They're saying these wide receivers aren't very good. These tight ends aren't very good. And I feel like that's such a misconception. It's a very poor narrative being put out there, because it's not that the receivers or tight ends are bad, Andy. It's that they don't have a Justin Jefferson type guy. They're, it's not like 2020 when you had like 3-4 guys who were like guarantee. A lot more of these guys are the type of wide receivers who, hey, if they go to the right team, like, I like Mekhi Lemon, but I think if he goes to the Titans, I don't know how good he's going to be. You know, I like Omar Cooper Jr., but if he goes to the wrong team, like let's say he goes to, I'm trying to think of a good example. If he goes to, let's say the Colts, I don't know what his role is going to be with the Colts. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how he fits in because they already have two guys who do what he does. So to me, I look at guys like if you're not going to the right team, I think that's going to be the differentiator than more than, oh, Chris Brazil, he was only blah, blah, blah productive. Well, if you put Chris Brazil on the Rams, I'm pretty sure he's going to play well.
Exactly. And that's the thing. There's lots of guys and that's with so many positions, right? Do you go to the right landing spot? Are you given the right opportunity? What's the depth chart when you get there, right? How does that look? What's your quarterback like? One other guy who narrowly missed my combine crush, Josh, Malachi Fields of Notre Dame. This guy's going to be, he gives me vibes of DK Metcalf, just a bit. I get DK Metcalf guy vibes off of this guy. 6'4.5", 218, got a slower 40. So I think he's going to drop 4.61, but that's not the end of the world. And 38 inch vertical, better in-game runner than track style. And we have to remember too, when you see the stuff of the combine, people are like, oh, there's numbers. People are training for the combine. You are training for track and field. So if you're going to go run the Olympics, great. It doesn't mean you're in a NFL style run play. And that's where a guy like Malachi Fields and like you talk about with the depth, where you get him somewhere, pick where you want to go. Maybe, I said DK Metcalf-ish. What about a later little pick going to Seattle? I don't know. Yeah. Do you think they would like another big boy to go along with a little bit of depth there? So
listen, I think to me, Fields, I'm not saying he is this player, okay? But I feel like he is the poor man's version of Calvin Johnson. I feel like he's a guy that wasn't used properly in college because he was on a team that ran the ball a lot, and you put him in a passing offense, he can really excel. Like I could see if he was drafted by, just to use an example, a team like the Broncos or a team like the Rams or a team like the Cowboys. Like I can see him like really being like, maybe not the Cowboys. They already had like 20 receivers, but like,
a team, I know what you mean. Yeah,
a team with a quarterback who's going to be able to feed him.
Yeah. You get him the ball. I think we're going to be talking about. And again, if he goes to the right landing spot, if he gets the opportunity and gets featured, we're going to be talking, Josh, in October. Like, whoa, where'd that guy come from? And we can say back in April that once again, me and you found that gem. And if he doesn't work out, and we won't bring it up again.
Exactly.
Right? That's how it goes.
Exactly. Before I let you go, for those who don't know, Andy covers the Cleveland Browns with the Sick podcast. And so obviously there's something that the Browns and Eagles have in common this year, which is they're both looking at offensive linemen, right? Yep. And I think a guy that is very, very intriguing, at least for me, is I'm curious to know, as someone who's been tracking the draft, you got your notes, you've been checking it twice.
Yep.
The interior line, okay? Because, the Browns, for those who don't know, pretty much lost their entire starting offensive line this offseason. Yeah. And the Eagles, listen, Tyler Steen, he's okay. And there was speculation that Landon Dickerson might retire this offseason in Philadelphia. And a couple of guys I'm curious about for you. Pregnon of Oregon is one name. And the other one is not Proctor. Because I know Proctor's probably going to be a high draft pick. But his teammate, Brailsford. Are those the kind of guys that you can see teams like the Browns and the Eagles saying, you know what? We're not going to take an interior alignment too high in the draft. But if these guys are around in rounds 3, 4, and 5, we're going to go snag them.
First of all, I think you mentioned Caden Proctor. I think that is going to be a fascinating story to watch. The guy's 6'8", can go as high as almost 400 pounds, which isn't necessarily a good thing. He wants to get closer to 350. Super athlete, but is he kind of like a DeJuan Jones who's on the Browns who then gets lower leg injuries with all that weight, right? But fascinating prospect, and I could see him going anywhere in the first round. Like you could. There's talk, Josh. He could go as high as 6. or he could go in the 20s or later than that, right? Like, so there's some options. It is a deep class for guards, for those interior line and right tackle. Not a great one for true left tackle. So you get a guy like, let's say, Spencer Fano. He can go, there's say a right tackle, center, or guard. You talk about Pregnon. I think he's looking at kind of in the 50s, being scouted to the Chargers a little bit. You can go and have guys like that who I think you can get great value with. And we know the Eagles and the Browns, Josh, they love their value. Oh, those analytics, the value hits, it's beautiful. They absolutely love it. So a guy like Pregnon could be that. One guy who I just want because I think he's a ton of fun and he's really good, Jennings Dunker, the redheaded mullet monster. You guys see him? Oh my gosh. You can Google Jennings with a G, Dunker. He is a farm boy delight who looks ridiculous, but he's a mauler and he's nasty. That's another depth guy you can probably get in the second round. So for the Browns, they've done in the offseason, mainly actually working on that interior line and right tackle. They still don't have a true center. Maybe Luke Whippler comes back, and left tackle is still wide open. DeJuan Jones could, maybe not. So they really, if they draft a guard, I'm going to be pretty upset because you got like 4 guards who you're trying to mix and match. That's the tough part. For the Eagles, though, again, where do these guys scout out? Do you think a guy who play right tackle, could he play guard? Where does it fit? So very, very deep class. We talk about wide receivers, but boy, interior linemen, real good too.
I will say this before I let you go. You mentioned Fano and Lomu. I like those 2 tackles from Utah. I think if those 2 guys go to a team that is going to run the ball, those guys are going to blow people up. But if they go to a team, either one of them, that passes the ball too much, you better watch out. Because that's my only concern with them is if you watch Utah this year, their quarterbacks, not just this year, but previous few years, the pass blocking in Utah has been average, okay? But the run blocking has been elite. So if you're telling me that I'm drafting Fano or Lomu and they're going to a team that's going to be like, let's say the Baltimore Ravens, right? Or the Buffalo Bills, then I'm like, good job. But if you're telling me they get drafted by the Cardinals, I'm like,
Yeah, maybe even the Chargers too, right? We know Harbaugh is trying to work in more of the run as the season went on. So that could be another possibility. But
Mike
I'm totally
McDaniel, by the way, people forget Mike McDaniel's background was as a run game coordinator, not a pass game coordinator.
Right. So that could be very interesting, right? It's going to be fascinating, Josh. The stories I think for the first round is the Ty Simpson watch, where he goes, and then what do we get a run on? Right, that's where it gets exciting because then teams start to panic. Well, I didn't want to take a tackle or a lineman this high. I didn't want to take a receiver, but they're all falling away. And then do you panic? Right, like the draft day movie clip you had. There's always a donkey. Don't let it be you.
Yeah, call the Jags GM. He don't know what he's doing.
That's right. That's right. Get me Putney.
He's Andy McNamara at AndyMC81 on the X platform, at AndyMC Sports on Instagram. Check out all of his work with Lucky Rebel. And, of course, the Sick Podcast. Like, subscribe, and download wherever you get your podcasts. Andy, we'll talk soon, my friend.
All right, buddy. Talk to you later. See ya.
Josh Hennig here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And don't forget about my friends over at the Craig Altman Law Firm. Listen, no one plans to get injured. No one plans for a car accident, a slip and fall, a serious workplace injury. So you need someone on your side who knows how to game plan. The insurance companies, they got a game plan. So who's on your side? How about you get someone who is here in South Jersey with experience in the big city? That's the law offices of Craig A. Altman, located on Delsey Drive in Vineland and backed by a Philly law firm that knows how to win. 856-327-8899. That's 856-327-8899. Or visit them online at craigaltmanlaw.com. Proud sponsor of Philadelphia sports coverage right here on 97.3 ESPN. We'll wrap up hour number 1 coming up the other side. Don't forget, Jason Myrtetus from the Flyers Radio Network joined us coming up at 1 p.m.
It's Flyers Penguin Game 1 on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedoruk call all the Flyers playoff action.
Zegras shoots. Zegras scores. It came on as fast as it went in.
It's Flyers Pen Game 1. Tonight, coverage begins at 8 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Flyers playoff hockey, 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and foods. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
Spring is here. Time for a fresh start behind the wheel. Tired of the runaround? Then drive to Bridgeton Auto Mall, your destination for spring savings. We're clearing out inventory with big savings on new and pre-owned vehicles, SUVs, sedans, trucks. Find the perfect ride at a price you'll love and keep it running like new with our award-winning service department. From oil changes to major repairs, our certified pros have you covered. Don't wait. Spring into savings today at Bridgeton Auto Mall. Sales, service, satisfaction. 808 North Pearl Street, Bridgeton, or drivebam.com.
Breaking news for your home. Way Day. Wayfair's big sale is almost here, and you can score the best deals in home. Like up to 80% off everything home. Yes, you heard that right. 80% off with free shipping on everything. Plus surprise flash deals all Way Day long. We're talking outdoor furniture and essentials, rugs, and more. All at Wayfair, and all up to 80% off during Way Day. Shop Wayfair's Way Day from April 25th through 27th.
Wayfair, every style, every home. Filling marble and tile, transforming spaces into beautiful places.
Hey, it's Joe Kelly. Filling Marble and Tile Retail Outlet in South Jersey is a premier family-owned stone dealer and installation expert. Residences, businesses, hospitals, schools, Atlantic City casinos, and more have trusted Filling Marble for quality marble, granite, and tile. Stop by today.
Filling marble and tile, transforming spaces into beautiful places.
See them online at fillingmarble.com.
Meet Morgan Jones. Morgan is about to step into a world unknown to most, thanks to Progressive's Renters Insurance, a place of fresh linens and turn-down service. You see, Morgan temporarily vacated her apartment and has gone to a hotel because a pipe burst in her apartment. A pipe that made her sense of reality and apartment ceiling all come crashing down. Luckily, Morgan checked into Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus, acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal Every vehicle, $29 down for limited time only at RK. RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax and title. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet every game like a Caesar and earn perks on every bet. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, all in one app. Download the app with promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bet. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I don't want them to gain another yard.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
You blitz all night!
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Wrapping up the first hour of Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Coming up on the other side, we'll be joined by Jason Myrtetus for the Flyers Radio Network. Flyers, Pens, Game 1 tonight. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. right here on your home for Flyers hockey. 97.3 ESPN FM and streaming live on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. And the IV Rehab injury report coming up at 1:25 for Dr. Alan Stepney. Don't forget about Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. That means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More opportunities to win hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the app. Use my promo code RADIO, DYW. And then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Hey, South Jersey, this is Billy Schweim. Tune into The Locker Room every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN. Each weekend in The Locker Room, you will get passionate sports talk from a fan's perspective, along with interviews with some of the biggest names in sports. That's every Saturday and Sunday from 10 a.m. to noon in The Locker Room with me, Billy Schweim, on 97.3 ESPN and the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, because nothing could be finer than talking sports with a Schweiner.
As simple as it may seem, so many of us just don't take time for ourselves, and that can affect our mood, productivity, and our level of happiness. Whether it's because of a busy work schedule, family, pets, kids, or other obligations, many people, especially women, get little or no self-care. But it's not being selfish. Remember the instructions on an airplane to put your oxygen mask on first before helping others? Self-care isn't just for you, it's for the people who depend on and care about you. You're happier, healthier, and you show up for them a lot better. Take time for a hobby, fitness, spend time with a friend, whatever it is, do something that makes you happy for yourself and the people who love you. I'm Robin Stoloff for Health Update.
Join the Atlantic County Utilities Authority for South Jersey's largest Earth Day Festival, Sunday, April 26, 10 to 4 at ACUA's Environmental Park in Egg Harbor Township. There will be over 150 vendors, live entertainment, tours, hayrides, and free admission. More at acua.com/Earth Day.
Is your trading stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity. AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off. Come see us today at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity and the Buck Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
AI can turn your lights on and even write your kid's essay. But AI isn't going to make sure your home's air conditioning is ready for spring temps. There's nothing artificial about the peace of mind you get with a professional AC tune-up from HomeServe. And having a local expert technician service your system, just $99 for a limited time, is quite intelligent. Offer ends May 31st, so schedule today at homeservesj.com.
Service provided by Frank Siderio Jr., Master HVAC R Contractor License Number 19HC0021150. Plumbing by Louis Silkowski. Plumbing License Number 36B I01292700.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
This spring, Automotive Avenues is ready to get you into a new ride. Your family-owned pre-owned dealership now has a location in Sewell. They bring the power of wholesale to the public. Financing is easy. Good credit, bad credit, or no credit, you're still approved. See why Automotive Avenues has won Consumer Satisfaction Awards for the last 8 years. Spring into savings at Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or browse their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenusnj.com.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet every game like a Caesar and earn perks on every bet. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, all in one app. Download the app with promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bet. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They got him again!
Sixers.
Bang! It's good! Ball game!
And Flyers.
Tipped in front of the net!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 2 of Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle, where you can hear the Flyers Penguins Game 1 tonight, either on 97.3 ESPN FM or the 97.3 ESPN mobile app. Joining me to get more into the improbable Flyers playoff run is the one and only Jason Myrtetus. Of course, you hear him on the Flyers Radio Network here on 97.3 ESPN, as well as the Flyers Daily Podcast. Jason, how you doing today?
What's going on, Josh? How you been, man?
Well, I'm good because the Flyers are in the playoffs for the first time, which seems like forever, which I know everyone keeps bringing up 2020, but that was the bubble, right, Jason? That wasn't the same as real playoff hockey with people in the stands losing their minds. So I wanted to start a big picture with you. For you, seeing this team in the playoffs, what does that say to you?
Well, it's obviously shocking that they're in it because even I didn't have them, being able to go this far. I was looking for a progressive step forward from the team this year as they kind of moved from that rebuild step of taking things away and selling pieces off to get assets and, organizational equity. But I thought they would take a step forward. Vegas had them at 78.5 points for the season. I had the over on that, about in the mid to upper 80s. But I didn't see this because I didn't see a guy like Porter Martone coming in and doing what he's done in just such a short period of time. That's like a great trade deadline addition that you didn't have to trade for. Wasn't sure about the goaltending of Dan Vladar after last year having, the trifecta of Ayerson, Fedotov, and Kolosov. Vladar never played more than 30 games, and he came in presumably as more the backup. And I wasn't sure how they would adapt to Rick Tockett's system, which was much different than what John Tortorella ran with a box and one defensive zone system, and where the goals were going to come from and how things would come together. What was Zegers going to be? How would he fit? There was a lot of question marks coming in, and I always say when you're kind of assessing what a team's going to be, you look at how many question marks they have, and if they have a ton of question marks, that's usually not a great thing. Because if you have a lot, not all of them are going to be answered in the affirmative. A lot of the question marks that I had coming in have been answered in the affirmative. So that's why they are where they are, and they earned it, which is a good thing, too. They didn't back in. They earned their way to 98 points, and they look dead and buried, and a lot of resilience with this team from day one. And the culture, you can see how it plays out on the ice, and that's why they are where they are, and that's why they were in this first-round matchup with the Pittsburgh Penguins, which should be insanely fun.
You just mentioned about Vladar. I want to back up to him because you know as well as anyone, the history of hockey in Philadelphia is who's the goaltender? Is he any good? Or if he's not good, why is he here, right? And so it's like with Vladar, I never saw this coming. And I argue he might be the biggest addition of the Danny Briere, Keith Jones era because that guy has stabilized a position that I think a lot of people, myself included, were like, you signed Vladar for that much money, and he has just been aces.
Yeah, he really has. He did some things. I looked at a lot of his game film from last year, and I saw a big goalie. He's obviously large. He didn't look great laterally, side to side, but that's something that this summer with his goalie coach back in the Czech Republic worked on his lateral play. Plus, he had a hip repair. I will tell you that modern goaltending, hips are everything. Like Shakira said, hips don't lie. And the hips are everything. His lateral play down low this year, most importantly, in the blocker side to glove side, has been stellar. That's been a huge difference in his game. And when they first signed him, I didn't know much about him, and I talked to him, and he just seemed to hit the right notes with me. There was no entitlement. I'm not coming in there expecting to play X amount of games. Anything I get, I'm going to earn. And we've come to find out that he's a bit of a leader as well as a goalie, which is tricky. And he will say things, very positive to keep the group moving forward. But the most impressive thing about him, Josh, is this. Goaltending is very mental, too. And he'll give up, like that game against Winnipeg, he gave up an absolute muffin cookie for that game-tying goal to make it 1-1. It was a bad goal. It's how you respond to the bad goal and the mental ability to reset as a goalie. Sounds like something that should be relatively easy, but I can assure you it's the most difficult part of the position because you got to put that behind you. You can't let one turn into two turn into three. And he has been able to do that, especially early in the season when they stacked points and weren't scoring first. And it also allows the team in front of you that if you let a goal in early, know that they can continue to play away where they can take risk to generate offense because you do have a guy back there that's going to bail you out, an eraser. That change, goaltending affects everything going forward. And if you got bad goaltending, they're so afraid in front of you that any mistake they make, you're pulling it out of the back of your net. A lot different when you got that confidence in your goalie.
Exactly. Over with Jason Myrtetus, of course, Flyers Radio Network tonight. 8 o'clock as the coverage begins right here on 97.3 ESPN. Also got a Flyers daily podcast for Flyers coverage.
We had Vladar on yesterday, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
Yeah.
Perfect. I got to ask you about the goaltending, because you mentioned about the bad goaltending. One of the stats I find interesting about this matchup is the Flyers have only allowed 62 goals since the Olympic break. That's third fewest in the NHL. On the flip side, the Penguins have allowed 96 goals, the fourth most in the NHL. So to your point about goaltending, how key is going to be the Flyers' sudden defense, shall we call it, versus the Penguins' lack of defense since the Olympic break in this series?
Well, I mean, goaltending in the playoffs is always paramount, right? And sometimes it comes from places you don't necessarily expect it. You see a guy come in and just go on a run. The position allows that to be able, for a goalie to just get on a heater, and you can get goalied in the playoffs quite a bit. You can get outshot 42-13 and lose 2-1 in the playoffs. It's just we've seen it so many times. And the Penguins' strength is not net. It hasn't been. They thought it was going to be with Tristan Jarry. They moved him for Stuart Skinner, who wasn't good enough in Edmonton in the playoffs, where they went to 2 cup finals because he was too erratic. And you look at their, I don't look at just individual players' save percentage, where Skinner this year has got an 885, which is 11 points below league average, where Seeloff's has an 888 below league average of 896. Team save percentage for them is 891. What does that tell me? It tells me they're a team that doesn't defend well, that's not their number one priority. Now, they've gotten to 98 points without it by being able to outscore teams and do it that way, but the playoffs are different. The playoffs, every inch of the ice is contested, and they don't just take shots anymore to take shots on goalies and build up. Hey, we got 42 shots. Yeah, we lost 6-1. Who gives a crap? You don't get anything for shots. It's about quality, not quantity anymore. So that's going to be a big factor in this game. Do they go Skinner? Do they go Seelovs? We'll see. I know what the Flyers are doing. They're going Vladar. And if there's an edge, that's the edge. They have an edge in net this year. They have an edge in defending. Everything that Rick Tocchet has done since he got here from day one started with system work from the crease out. And that's the way you got to do it.
Speaking of scoring, I know a lot of people have been enamored and love Porter Martone, as they should, by the way. Like the kid has been incredible. But is there someone not named Porter Martone that you, Jason Myrtetus, are looking at and say, if this guy has a good series, I can almost guarantee you the Flyers win the series?
Well, Mishkov's an obvious answer because he finished strong. And it was a tough year for Mishkov in his second year in the NHL, which happens. It happens to a lot of players. There's very few players that are immune to the sophomore slump. Guys like McDavid, guys like Crosby, but a lot of guys, they get a book on you, and then you have to adjust to the adjustment. And Mishkov, his game right now is on the come in a big way. He ends up with the 20 goals, 31 assists, and he's playing his best hockey by far. So he's obviously an X factor, but that's kind of an obvious answer for me to go to. But the one I will go to is Owen Tippett. He's cooled off a little bit of late, but this series is built for him because he can do a couple of things. One, he can generate offense with his line mates, with Trevor Zegras on that line. And he also, because Zegras seems to know how to get him the puck either in space to wind it up and use his speed and power, or get it to him when he's wound it up and is skating with speed and power. If he is that guy that is going to be, he could just be an absolute power forward with that speed, stretch the ice. And the other thing he can do is he can jump over the board sometimes and just score a goal without any help from anybody. It's like the freak show thing. I've always thought, and I've always said the most important thing with Owen Tippett is convincing him that he is as talented as he is. You coach his mind. I would literally, if I was coaching him, I'd call him every morning and be like, dude, do you know how you could skate? You know how strong and big, and I would convince him of that. Sometimes I think he doesn't know. But if he is that guy that we saw at the end of the year, then he is a huge X factor because he is he turnstiles defenders. I mean, he had like 7 games in a row where he had a breakaway because he used his speed so well. So to me, he's a big, big X factor.
Owen Tippett, part of my fantasy hockey team that got to the championship game that lost, though.
By way of that run he was on, I'm sure.
It helped a lot. But I lost to a guy that had Kaprizov, and Kaprizov went nuts for the last 2 weeks of the season.
Well, yeah, he's he's elite for sure, and that's why he's going to be getting paid like $18 million, which is kind of insane. But
yeah,
I'd like to see hockey players get paid a lot of money.
Yeah, well, it's been a long time coming for some of these guys.
Yeah.
Let's be realistic. Jason, you mentioned Rick Tocchet earlier, and he's a conversation point as well because there were cries for people back in January, and I'm sure you heard them as well. Tocchet's not doing a good job. He's not motivating these guys right. Maybe you need to fire the coach. Like, there were people ready to bail on Rick Tocchet back in January, and now a few months later, here you are on your first playoff appearance in 6 years. For you, what has been kind of like the story of the year for Rick Tocchet, the coach?
Yeah, I heard those things, and I saw them on Twitter, and they wanted to do fire Tocchet chants, and I thought it was – and some people actually thought it was realistic. I'm going, you think they're going to fire the guy in year one when they've made clear year-to-year improvement and they're a rebuilding team? But there's got to be a method to what you do. You got to, if you're in a rebuild and the Flyers have been patient and not cut corners this time for the first time ever, and they didn't try and all of a sudden start microwaving the stuff, you have to have a method to the madness. There's foundational things that you have to build that may set a player back statistically for a period of time, but ultimately make you a better player. He's trying to make players better hockey players, better winners, not point producers. You can turn a lot of guys into great point producers, but they'll never win anything. There's a way to play to be a winner, and there's a way to play to be a producer. And I think a lot of it was that. Now, in January, they were tired, as a lot of teams were. They weren't good. They lost their mojo, and they lost their structure all of a sudden, too, which was alarming. But the way he handled it at the Olympic break by realizing I got all these players under 24 years of age, maybe I'm overloading them mentally to make too many decisions. So let's simplify things in their neutral zone and defensive zone structure. And we see the result. You see players when you see a player thinking on the ice, horrible looking thing to see because they're a step behind. When they're not thinking and they're playing it instinctually, much different. And that's what we saw after the Olympic break. I think he's done a good job. And, is it the most exciting brand of hockey? No. But sometimes the most exciting brands of hockey never win. Toronto Maple Leafs played a really exciting brand of hockey for years, outscoring opponents in the regular season, and they never got past the second round, and now they're in the absolute muck of the NHL. We've seen it all the time happen. If you want to win, you got to be able to defend. It's not the sexiest way to play, but it's the winning way to play.
Yeah, at the end of the day, we count to the coach wins. We don't count to style points at the end of the day. Yeah. I think that's a big part of the conversation. Speaking of the way you play that matters, I was asked by a fellow colleague of both of ours, Nick Earnshaw, to ask you about this. For those who didn't know, Jason got some flack this week for speaking the truth about Yevgeny Malkin. I'm going to pop up your tweet on the stream here. It really amazes me how sensitive, you're right, these people are when you call somebody who they are, what they are. So Nick asked me to let you have a moment to kind of reflect on your week dealing with the Penguin fans who are mad at you about Yevgeny Malkin.
Yeah, I appeared on John Mark's show yesterday, and I was asked about him, and I gave my honest opinion. And I was asked about Crosby, and I gave my honest. I would take Sidney Crosby on my team every day of the week and twice on Sunday. I think he's the best player that I've seen, of my lifetime. I saw Gretzky, and he's better, but Crosby's right there, and the way he's carried himself and the way he plays the game with integrity. I don't feel the same way about Evgeny Malkin. Evgeny Malkin's going to the Hall of Fame. I recognize the player that he is. He is a very good, great player, and he earned the Hall of Fame, and he earned those 3 cups. But the way that he uses his stick as a weapon and won't defend himself when, stepped into for doing it is cowardly crap for me. And I think it's BS. And I just call it like I see it. And, look, I understand in sports fan bases, we have selective morality. A guy that, Matt Barnaby, we hated in Philadelphia, no matter who he was playing for, but we would have loved him as a Flyer.
Right.
So I understand they love Malkin because he's a Penguin, but let's call a spade a spade. He's a dirty player. He's a prick on the ice. The way he uses stick, it's cowardly. You don't use it, and they'll go, "Whoa, the whole Flyers brand was brought up on the Broad Street Bullies and beating everybody up." First of all, that team could actually play hockey too. That's one thing that people don't realize.
They were great skaters for the 1970s.
Yeah, they were a talented hockey team too, but that was also in 1970. We're here in 2026. There has been some evolution to the game and headshots and those kind of things. Like Matt Cook, the headshot he took when he was a Penguin fan on a player, ended his career. So this lack of awareness of, that Malkin is dirty. And he is a guy that's going to use his stick as a weapon. They're coming at me, but whatever. I mean, trying to disparage Philadelphia in the area. I'm like, dude, you're from Pittsburgh. Like, such a third-rate city, to come after, you're from Philly, so you're scum. So whatever. These people, they can come after me all they want with their Evgeny's great stuff. And I admit, great player. But I think he's an absolute mutt the way he's carried himself as a pro with that way of playing on the ice, using the stick as a weapon. I mean, 2 hands, guys, across the head. I mean, I've been in the game a long time. As a player, I did some dirty things I'm not proud of. But this stuff is still going on with him. And it's absurd. Gudas is a dirty player and plays over the line sometimes. I know that. And Goody played here, and we loved him when he played here. But the way that Malkin does it, I have a problem with. And I'd be up his keister the entire series trying to get him out of his mind and get him off his game, because he will lose his mind at times. And that way, maybe I can mitigate the fact that he has scored 99 points against the Flyers in his career.
Yeah, and like you said, that's the weird thing, that Gudas is not an elite defenseman skill-wise.
No.
Malkin is an elite offensive player skill-wise. So it's like, for him to be doing this stuff, it is a little weird, right? Yeah. Like it's a little like, it's like, dude, like it doesn't line up with the game. Like you're one of these guys who's a great skater, great stick work, but you're using your stick work as you call it, as a weapon instead of just to score goals.
Yeah, I mean, look, I understand slashing a guy, playing beyond the whistle, and slashing a guy, cross-checking him after the whistle blows in a net front scrum. I get all that. But when you're two-handing guys across the head, like we're not doing that anymore, dude. Like, that's over the line. It's out of line. And I got a problem with it, because I don't only think it's dangerous, but you could really hurt somebody, not just in their career, but you could really hurt somebody. With all we know about the brain nowadays, you could really do some damage. So I think it's irresponsible. And, I know the Penguin fans don't want to hear it, and that's their little fanboy. I get it. But, and I have no problem going back and forth with them. None. My entire in-laws are all from Pittsburgh, so I hear it all year round about all the teams. But it's going to be fun. That's what makes this rivalry great. Look, you need villains, right, in sports. It's important to have sports villains. Like Ty Domi for years, when he would come to town, he wasn't a consequential player that was going to beat you up in scoring. But when he was there, it was going to be entertaining. You had a villain. So you need those guys, and Malkin fits the bill.
And, of course, again, tonight, Flyers, Penguins, Game 1. Coverage begins at 8 p.m. right here on 97.3 ESPN. He's Jason Myrtetus, part of the Flyers Radio Network, Flyers Daily Podcast. And he joined me right here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Jason, appreciate you jumping on. Keep up the great work. And, you got a lot of people out here who are, hoping for you, praying for you with your situation you're dealing with cancer. It's an inspiration to a lot of people. So keep your head up high, my friend.
Yeah, it's been weird. I'll just say this as I go out the door. It's amazing what sports can do, Josh. It's why we love it. The days when I've gone through chemo or recovering from surgeries or procedures, and the team would play and they'd win, the amount that it would help me, like, feel better, maybe just for an hour, it was incredible to me. Like, I never realized the endorphins and things it could release in my body and how it could affect me and inspire me and help me fight when I didn't want to fight. And, I mean, what more could you ask from the game than that? When you're battling for your life and the game is helping you do it. And I attacked my battle in a way that the game is played shift by shift. Sometimes you go out there and you don't have a good shift, but you got to jump over the boards again and give it all you got. And that's what I did. And I'm recovering now, and we're going to keep pushing and shift by shift, we're going to get a W.
Love it. Jason, appreciate it, man.
Anytime, Josh. Thanks.
Josh Hennig here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Coming up on the other side, we will get to the Ivy Rehab injury report. We got some interesting injuries from the Diamond, and one of the injuries, I'm a little surprised, even myself. How on earth did Jonathan Bolin, the Phillies pitcher, get injured? The story of how he got injured and the why is what we're going to get to coming up on the other side here on Hanging with Hennig with Dr. Alan Stepney here from Ivy Rehab with over 18 locations around South Jersey. First in class, best in class physical therapy. They're my rehab doctors, and they should be yours as well. The Ivy Rehab injury report coming up next on 97.3 ESPN. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ Bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup, even the all-new 2027 Telluride, plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned, and get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or MyRKKia.com.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account. When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything. Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
For over 135 years, First Bank of Sea Isle City has proudly served Cape May County with a commitment to maintaining a hometown feel. We provide secure, convenient deposit and loan products every day. We're more than just a bank. We're a trusted community partner, offering personalized banking solutions that make life easier for local families of all ages. First Bank of Sea Isle City. Look for our lighthouse in your neighborhood and discover what makes us different.
Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Hey, you know what? There's another name you might know me by. Star-Lord.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
Who? Star-Lord, man. Legendary outlaw.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, we will get into Sixers-Celtics series with SI's reporter and writer Austin Krell coming up at 2 o'clock. And also, we will talk about WrestleMania 42 with Andreas Hale coming up at 2:25. Right now, it's time for the Ivy Rehab injury report. With over 80 locations around South Jersey, they are my go-to for best-in-class outpatient physical therapy. They worked on my neck and shoulder for months, and now I'm letting you guys learn more about what they can do for you guys here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Today, we got Dr. Alan Stepney joining us here on the show. Alan, how you doing today?
I'm good, Josh. Thank you for having me on.
I appreciate you jumping on. So let's dive right into it, because I find that the injury to Jonathan Boland to be fascinating, because this is a guy who he had what they called mild discomfort when he came off the mound, right? But then he tried to stretch it out, and he actually made it worse to the point where he has a right groin strain. And even though technically he could be out 2 weeks, they say it could be longer. So explain to our audience how someone can go from having just mild discomfort to an actual strain just because they might have stretched a little too much.
Okay, sure. So one of the reasons a groin strain recovery is so unpredictable is the severity of the strain itself. So muscle strain is the tearing of the muscle fibers either by overstretching the muscle or placing excessive forces on the muscle beyond its capabilities. And it's categorized into 3 different grades. So a grade 1 strain is a minor tearing of a few muscle fibers that is painful, but the muscle strength and function remains intact. A grade 2 strain is a tearing of more muscle fibers and results in more severe pain and a noticeable loss of strength and function. And a grade 3 strain is a complete tear of the muscle where it's separated into 2 pieces or sheared away from the tendon, causing significant dysfunction and in some cases requires surgical repair. So the recovery time is based on the grade of the strain, with 2 to 4 weeks for a grade 1, 4 to 8 weeks for a grade 2, and 3 to 6 months for a grade 3 strain. So determining what severity of strain is involved sets the recovery timetable. And also what makes the recovery time for a groin strain particularly challenging is the location of the groin muscles, which are a small muscle group called adductors located in the inner thigh that connects to the front of your pelvis. So the primary action of the groin is pulling your leg in, or what we call adduction. But secondarily, the groin or adductors are involved with other anatomical structures such as the lower abdominals and the hip flexors or lifting the leg, which makes it difficult for the groin muscles to heal because of the stress put on the groin doing other movements. So it's important for the fastest recovery time to get adequate rest and limit the amount of stress one places on the injured groin muscles. So in the case of Jonathan Bolin, with a mild strain, it's no surprise why he is expected to miss this amount of time. And hopefully he is able to come back healthy closer to the 2-week window rather than that 4-week window. So when one has a groin injury, one of the treatments I would do is implement low load stretching of the muscle, where you're stretching the muscle within a certain parameter or range of movement to prevent further injury. However, prolonged stretching or increasing the load of the stretching based on body position or stretching beyond an acceptable range can cause further tearing of those muscle fibers and result in more damage and a higher severity of injury. So with Jonathan Bolin, the groin may have been more injured than he initially thought based on initial symptoms or wanting to come back and continue to play. However, it's crucial to exercise caution with groin injuries, no pun intended, because they can linger and be re-aggravated if not fully healed.
And to just follow up on that, you mentioned about the type of work that you would do as someone who had a groin strain or a groin issue. And I think what's important to point out is that you're talking about rehab under someone like you or someone at Ivy Rehab's instruction to say, this is how you do it. This is how you don't go too far. Because, sometimes you can, for example, like with me, I was able to be sent home with certain exercises to do when I was not at the rehab center. But this sounds like something where if you are someone who has a groin strain or a groin injury of any type, that maybe there needs to be a little bit more, directional rehab going on.
Right. Yeah. So erring on the side of caution is the best treatment for a groin injury, just because of where it's located. As I said, in doing other things that can cause more harm than good. So you really want to progress slowly with a groin injury. You want to do like isometric strengthening, which is where you're not lengthening the muscle, but still able to strengthen the muscle without causing tearing of muscle fibers. As I said before, low load stretching, and then just kind of easing into those sports specific or sports related movements, so that you're ensuring that when you do get back out on the field, you don't have to worry about that groin injury being re-aggravated.
Talking with Dr. Alan Stepney from IV Rehab Physical Therapy Center with over 18 locations around South Jersey. Best in class physical therapy and rehabilitation. They were my rehabilitation, and now we're bringing them to you here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Our second injury today has to do with Tigers infielder / outfielder Zach McKinstry. What's interesting about him is that, for those who didn't see on Wednesday, he sustained all of his injuries basically in one game. He ended up walking away with a bruised hip from a collision, a jammed shoulder from the same collision. So now he's dealing with a hip issue and a bruised shoulder. So talk about the complexity if someone walks into IV rehab and they got more than one injury that needs to be worked on.
Right. So what goes into the recovery of multiple injuries is the severity of each injury and the body parts involved. So in the case of Zach McKinstry, he has an upper body and lower body injury. And the silver lining there is that although the injuries are on the same side of the body, both injuries can be treated individually without the concern that you're doing further damage to one injury while you're treating the other. So Zach's injuries are a degree of blunt force trauma, which usually involve a considerable amount of pain, swelling, and inflammation, tenderness to the area, as well as limited mobility, strength, and function. So the primary objective in rehab is pain and inflammation control and avoiding strenuous activities involving the hip and shoulder, followed by restoring full range of motion and strength and reintegrating sport-specific movement. And the recovery timetable can range from a few days to a few weeks.
Now, when you talk about being on the same side of the body, I think that's an interesting point as well, because some people might feel like, hey, if I have a hip issue and a shoulder issue in the same part of the body, could there maybe be some interference? But it sounds like you're suggesting that, it's not as, shall we call it, complicated as maybe someone feels like if they come into IV rehab.
Right. So there could be a couple of complicated variables that go into that. First is splitting the time needed to do the rehab for each injury and not being able to fully dedicate all of your time to just one injury. Also, there could be varied healing times for each body part, meaning one injury is healing slower than the other, which can delay the progression of rehab from reaching the phase of sport-specific movement, right, in which both body parts have to move in conjunction with each other, such as running. Also, the time the rehab begins can impact recovery time, meaning the initiation of treatment compared to the onset of injury. So with acute injuries such as the one suffered by Zach McKinstry, any delay in treatment can prolong recovery time, which is why it is crucial not only for professional athletes, but for anyone who has an acute musculoskeletal injury not to wait, but to seek medical treatment right away, including physical therapy. And just so you know, IV Rehab has locations all across South Jersey, ready and willing to serve you and get you back to full strength.
And I know firsthand, I walked in with 2 injuries myself, and I can testify that the one injury, the shoulder, I was good to go. It took a little while, but it was pretty quick compared to my other injury. So, you're 100% right. It's, one part could be like, hey, that's good. And the other part of the body is like, we're not there yet. So that's a very important point you just brought up. Dr. Alan Stepney joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Yes, IV Rehab with over 80 locations around South Jersey. Best in class physical therapy. They were my rehabilitation. They should be yours as well. Dr. Stepney, I appreciate you jumping on today.
Thank you for having me on, Josh. Looking forward to another time with you.
Absolutely. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle. Great stuff from him. I think the point about the Jonathan Bolin thing is, sometimes, and we all do it, we've all been there, You think you can take care of it. You think you can handle it yourself. And then you do something and you made it worse. That's why you need to go to someone like Ivy Rehab Physical Therapy to help make sure that you get on track to full recovery as soon as possible. We'll check back in on the text board on the other side, 609-403-0973. We're getting your guys' predictions. Flyers, Penguins, Game 1 tonight on 97.3 ESPN. Sixers, Celtics tomorrow. Pre-game coverage starts at 12:30 p.m. here on 97.3 ESPN. WrestleMania 42 is this weekend on 97.3 ESPN. All that and more still to come here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN. Mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. And we are streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch Virtual Studios.
It's Sixers playoff basketball tomorrow afternoon on 97.3 ESPN. The Sixers face the Boston Celtics. Listen as Tom McGinnis calls all the Sixers playoff action.
Here's another shot by George, and that's good. Oh, man. And the Sixers bench is hopping with joy.
It's Sixers Celtics Game 1 tomorrow afternoon. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Sixers playoff basketball.
Oh, yeah.
97.3 ESPN.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and foods. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels of Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, clemicperformancemethod.com.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland. All you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus, acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com. To qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
Spring cleaning isn't just for your house, it's for your life. If your job is getting old, it's time to clear the clutter and spring into IT. Go to My Computer Career.
My Computer Career helped me get the skills and certifications I needed to start a new life as an IT professional in months, not years.
Earn the certifications the top employers are looking for right now. Visit mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation to see if it's time to spring into IT. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey, Mom, now that I have an after-school job, I think I want to buy a drum kit.
Okay, Rockstar. Let's look at your account.
When kids start making money, Chase has easy-to-use tools and expert bankers to help them learn how to manage it.
And next month, I'll buy the bass drum and the cymbals. Oh, and maybe some noise-canceling headphones for you.
Aw, you've thought of everything.
Help kids save, budget, and build financial independence, all with Chase. That's good for kids and good for parents. Visit your local Chase branch and get started.
Account subject to approval. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Go to get your game on at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery at Ocean Casino Resort. Go where fans become fanatics at the Fanatic Sportsbook in the Gallery. Go to Ocean Casino Resort. Go for the win. For more information, visit theoceanac.com.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Trust is earned. That's why I've stuck with Straight Talk. Same price since 2009 on Verizon's 5G network. Cause shoot, anyone can make a promise. Keeping it for years, that means something.
Now plans starting at $25 a month with 4 lines. Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Same price claim applies only to the base monthly price of our $45 plan from October 2009 to present.
Is your trade-in stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Maplet Nissan.
We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay.
At Maplet Nissan and at Maplet Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
New 26 Maplet Nissan Rogue, just $269 per month.
New 26 Maplet Nissan Kicks, just $289 a month.
Or finance select new Nissan or Infinity at 0% APR for 60 months.
Worried about your credit? Don't sweat it. Our lenders can get almost anyone approved.
Come see us today at Maplet Nissan and at Maplet Infinity.
And the Black Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township.
It's time to drop in some Maplet Nissan.
With approved credit, go to mapletnissan.com for details or 877-289-6670. Price includes all costs to be paid by consumer, except for licensing, registration, and taxes. $1667 per thousand financed for 60 months at 0 APR through NMAC. Negative trade equity refinanced. Subject to lender approval. Offers don't combine. Expires month end.
Caesars Sportsbook is the only sportsbook app with Caesars Rewards. Bet every game like a Caesar and earn perks on every bet. Hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, all in one app. Download the app with promo code RADIODYW and place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bet. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet of $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings $2,500 per bet. Profit boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
Boy, that escalated quickly.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
I mean, that really got out of hand fast.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. We'll get back to text board in just a bit. Your predictions for the Flyers, the Sixers, and more at 609-403-0973. Don't forget about my friends over at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Of course, the Flyers on deck tonight at 8 p.m. Sixers tomorrow at 1 p.m. Phillies Sunday Night Baseball tomorrow night at 7 p.m. You can catch all of the games all weekend long at my friends Hang Time Bar and Grill. Plus, if you're having maybe a graduation party or an event coming up, you could use their back patio. It's a great open room for events, get-togethers, and such for this time of year. And with the weather so beautiful outside, you want to have a nice open room with some sunlight coming in. Plus, don't forget about their DJ bingo every Wednesday, live music every Tuesday, and their happy hours throughout the week. Follow them on Instagram and Facebook to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill. Don't forget, we got Austin Krell from Sports Illustrated coming up a little bit later in the show here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. I did want to kind of backtrack to the football conversation because I thought there were some very interesting comments made by Nick Foles this week on his podcast. We played some of this audio this week on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill. But I want to kind of backtrack to it because as Sal Paolantonio said yesterday on the Sports Bash with Mike Gill here on 97.3 ESPN, Nick Foles doesn't say stuff for just saying stuff. He doesn't do it for clicks. He doesn't do it for attention. If he sees something, he has a conviction about something, he's going to talk about it. And on his season podcast, he explained that he thinks A.J. Brown is getting traded, but maybe not for the reasons that everyone has brought up previously. Here is the first reason why Nick Foles thinks A.J. Brown is getting traded sooner than later.
Talking about the A.J. Brown situation,
Howie Roseman's not shutting it down. He's not saying he's an Eagle right now. That makes me, and what they're doing, like you talked about, they're making their receiver room stronger. They have a first-year coordinator in Sean Mannion. You don't want to deal with, what they dealt with last year with A.J.
You don't want to deal with what we dealt with last year with A.J. Brown. That's a huge part of this conversation. People overlook. We get so obsessed of who's replacing A.J. Brown. How's the offense look without A.J. Brown? And we overlook the fact that A.J. Brown might not want to be here, number one. Number two, if he's not fully invested in being here, it's like if you're in a relationship. Someone might say, that person is the best person you ever dated. But if they're toxic, it doesn't matter if they're the quote-unquote best you've ever dated. If they are bringing you down, keeping you from your potential. More from Nick Foles on the season podcast.
Now, AJ had merit looking back. Like, why was he frustrated? Well, it was why the concepts of the offense and how it was ran with Kevin Patullo. Looking back, that's maybe what the frustration was. Was it with Jalen Hurts? I don't know. I'm not in the facility. No idea. But because of those things and different people I know around the league that know AJ a little bit, what I've gathered is wants to be traded, but I also think he wants to be traded to specific places.
We heard this from Albert Breer from Sports Illustrated. He joined Jeff McClain on the Uncovering the Eagles podcast about how A.J. Brown's people have been talking. They've been asking around. They've been seeing what's up. A.J. Brown's got a list of teams he would like to go to. Again, back to the relationship comparison. You don't talk about life after the relationship unless you're already mentally thinking about what life would be without that person. You're not keeping a job if you're planning on taking another job already and putting in the legwork to see what would go into that. So number one, he says, Howie Roseman not shutting down the A.J. Brown rumors. That's the first reason why he says this is legitimate. Number two, he says A.J. Brown's people are putting out feelers. Albert Breer and Jeff McClain said, it is hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube once you've already started walking down this road. And then the third reason why Nick Foles on the season podcast said that there might be some bigger reasons for why they might trade A.J. Brown.
But if you could get a high pick for AJ and you're Howie Roseman, would you do it? I think at this point you do it, but that's tough for me. And what came to my mind right there is I think A.J. Brown's an incredible receiver.
So do I.
But there were several times last year where I saw him throttling on routes or not thinking the ball was going to go his way. And that was the difference in a completion and not. And then there were some drops in key moments to where it just looked like his head wasn't in it because of everything going on.
You heard him talk about that A.J. Brown's a great receiver. They said, but he had some issues. Drop passes, not running routes. And I think that's a big part of this. It does not get talked about enough. Again, we keep hearing people bring up, how are you replacing A.J. Brown? But not enough people have talked about the reality that A.J. Brown was just as much part of the problem with the Eagles' offense last year as anyone else. He complained. He demanded the ball. They get him the ball, they lose games. They try to get him the ball more. He drops it. He shortchanges routes. And Nick Foles explains that the Eagles probably don't want to deal with a guy who's not going to put their quarterback in a position to be successful.
I do think the Eagles, looking at all that and everything, they don't want to deal with that anymore. And if he's unhappy and the throttling on routes, and was it all the time? No. But there was I remember there was a post route, an in cut. There was a couple that I was watching where I'm like, he doesn't think he's getting the ball. And Jalen Hurts is back there trying to give him something to go run under and make a big play.
So if the quarterback's trying to get you the ball, but you just assume you're not getting the ball and you're quitting on a route, how is keeping him helping your team? And again, Nick Foles is a quarterback, so maybe some people might say that his perspective on it is a little jaded because as a quarterback, maybe supporting a quarterback. But he has been critical of Hurts as well on the season podcast. So he gave you a lot of reasons there. How he's not shutting it down, number one. Number two, A.J. Brown's people are actively checking out other houses in the neighborhood for him to move into, we'll call it. Number three, he says, you got a guy who's not invested in the routes. He's shortchanging the routes. He's shutting it down if he's not getting the ball. And when the quarterback tries to get in the ball, he's dropping the pass. He ain't running the route properly. The way Foles describes it, it sounds to me that A.J. Brown not is going to be traded, but should be traded. And this is what I've been saying for months here on Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you in the Dr. Squatch virtual studios. It's the idea that if you have a player that, one, might not want to be here, two, not giving the team his best effort, three, complains, and then when the quarterback puts him in position to be successful, he's making his quarterback look bad, and four, is willing to complain on different platforms like Twitch and other outlets, but then when the media asks him about it, he says everything's good and he smiles. That is an individual who's being disingenuous. I was going to say another term. I'm going to say with disingenuous because I think A.J. Brown has proven time and time again that he is not as serious about being the best version of himself on and off the field as he claims he is. And whatever the reasoning for that is, AJ, that's on your fault. That's on your shoulders. Hang with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Coming up on the other side, the Philadelphia 76ers play the Boston Celtics in the first round of the NBA playoffs. Coverage begins at 12:30 p.m. tomorrow here on 97.3 ESPN. We will talk with Austin Krell, Sports Illustrated Sixers reporter and writer. Most people assume the Sixers will not win this series. So there's something else to watch for in the series for the 76ers if they're not going to win. Well, that's Austin Krell about that and more coming up here on 97.3 ESPN. Josh Hennig hanging out with you. Hour 3 of Hang with Hennig coming up next.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex Berardis, and my intern Aaron Ewing. Join me in the studio. We will recap Game 1 of the Flyers-Penguins series. The Phillies struggle, and we will go on the mound with former Phillies pitcher Tommy Green. Brought to you by Blitz's Market of Ocean City. Tommy analyzes the Phillies' struggles and previews Sunday's game. Hour 2 will preview the Sixers-Celtics series with our own Nick Earnshaw. All that and more. It's the locker room with Billy Schwein. Sunday morning from 10 a.m. to noon on 97.3 ESPN.
Listen up. The soap you shower with? It's you probably haven't even questioned what bar of soap you lather up with. Let's face it, most guys don't. But now you can upgrade your shower game with Dr. Squatch Natural Soap. I'm talking about natural, nourishing, cold-pressed, hand-cut soap for men. Men who use their hands. Men who build things. Men who catch foul balls without spilling their beer. You won't just smell good either. Your skin will be healthier and more nourished. We make our soaps with natural ingredients from the earth. Ingredients like oils, plants, goat's milk, Greek yogurt, oatmeal, shea butter, and citrus. Turn your shower game up to 11. Get ready to step out of the shower feeling alive.
Hey, this is Josh Hennig. Go to my social media and click my exclusive Dr. Squatch link for your chance to save $10 off your next order of great natural soap, deodorant, and much more. Only with Dr. Squatch.
Need a new car and have no idea. It's got to be a matte black Kia.
26 Matt Blatt Kia Sportage, $139 per month. All new 27 Matt Blatt Kia Telluride, $339 per month. Plus, get up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for your trade.
Matt Blatt Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike, Egg Harbor Township.
It's got to be a Matt Blatt Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 to sign. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Offers don't combine, expires month end.
Catch all the sports action this April at Vintner Social. With 20 big screen TVs, you won't miss a second of our Philly baseball, basketball, and hockey teams, championship golf action, and pro football draft. The deck is open, the drafts are ice cold, and the game day food and wing specials are ready for you. And when the game's on break, jump into the arcade and create your own action. Catch it all at Vintner Social, Vintner Avenue in Vintner. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
We're here with our industry ace for roofing and siding, Iron Shield Roofing and Siding. For those who may not know you, what's your specialty?
We specialize in residential and commercial roofing and siding, including repairs, full replacements, and new installations. Our focus is on protecting homes and businesses with quality workmanship that lasts.
What makes Iron Shield different?
We bring over 30 years of experience. We're family owned and operated and fully licensed and insured. We also offer free inspections and estimates so customers can understand their options before making a decision.
Why is it so important to stay on top of roof and siding maintenance?
Your roof and siding protect everything underneath. Catching small issues early prevents bigger, more expensive problems later and helps maintain your property's value.
Where can people learn more?
Visit our website or give us a call for a free inspection at ironshieldroofingsiding.com, 609-358-3853. That's ironshieldroofingsiding.com, 609-358-3853.
This spring, Automotive Avenues is ready to get you into a new ride. Your family-owned pre-owned dealership now has a location in Sewell. They bring the power of wholesale to the public. Financing is easy. Good credit, bad credit, or no credit, you're still approved. See why Automotive Avenues has won Consumer Satisfaction Awards for the last 8 years. Spring into savings at Automotive Avenues of Sewell on Delsey Drive, or browse their expanded inventory now at automotiveavenusnj.com.
Home of the Philadelphia Eagles.
They've got him! It's a sack!
Sixers.
Oh, baby!
And Flyers.
He scored!
97.3 ESPN. WENJ. WENJ HD. Millville, Atlantic City. A Town Square media station serving all of South Jersey.
Finally! This is Hanging with Hennig.
I have friends everywhere.
On 97.3 ESPN Radio, South Jersey.
In New Jersey. Am I right? Yeah.
Live feed on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
It seems to run on some form of electricity. Well, you're not wrong.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
The internet is a communications tool used the world over where people can come together.
Now, here's your host.
He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Josh Hennig.
Hour 3 of Hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN. Tomorrow on 97.3 ESPN, Sixers begin their series with the Boston Celtics. Now, most people assume the Sixers are going to lose this series. So, what does that even mean? Is there maybe something else to watch for in this series? And if the presumed outcome is they're going to lose the series, I want to know what that means for the team moving forward. So that's why we called in Austin Krell. Of course, used to cover the Sixers with us here at 97.3 ESPN. Now as a Sixers reporter and writer for Sports Illustrated. He joins us right now here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Austin, welcome in. How you doing today?
Doing well, Josh. Thanks for having me, as usual.
I appreciate you jumping in. So, like I said before you came on, most people are assuming they're going to lose, okay? And I'm not saying that to be mean. I'm just saying because it's a fact. Pretty much everyone and their cousin is picking against the Sixers. But what is something that you're intrigued by, win or lose, in this series with the 76ers?
I would say, just simply put, how VJ Edgecombe reacts to his first real playoff series. He was excellent in his post-season debut. I know that we don't really call play-in tournament playoffs, but effectively playoff stakes. He was excellent in that one game and now he's going to face a really good Boston team. And how does he react? Does he go out with a whimper, or does he go out on his shield and prove to everybody that like the future of this team is actually pretty promising, regardless of what you think of Joel and Paul, because you have Tyrese and you have as the two young pillars of the future.
You just mentioned about the fact of Edgecombe. What do you think his assignment is going to be in this series? Because I know there's a lot of ways you can go with this, right? Like there's not like a clear answer.
Yes, I just published a piece on this actually about an hour ago, and I think like I rewatched the Magic game, and I think the thing that stood out to me was like he wasn't on any one offensive player for Orlando. Like he took, one possession would be against Paolo, other would be against a lot of it was against Desmond Bane, who's a big-bodied shooting guard. Who in theory should give a rookie body some problems. Then he would switch on to Jalen Suggs, and then he would go on to Jamal Cain or somebody else. So he spent a lot of time just scaling between sizes, between positions, between skill sets in that game. And I think that's something that's translatable to this series. Like you'll have maybe a guy in Jason Tatum who's bigger and is about 6'8", 6'9", but isn't as, I guess, bulky as maybe a Jaylen Brown is. And so, can he stay with Jason Tatum and contest his high release point on his shot? Can he not get bullied and pushed around by Jaylen Brown in the mid range? Can he stay with with Derek White and not get and not succumb to the length or to the shooting? Can he stay in front of a Peyton Pritchard? So I think he'll scale across a bunch of different roles, and I think that will be his job for this series. Try to avoid foul trouble, but still be physical and really impact the ball, put pressure on the ball handler.
I was saying before you came on, Austin Krell joining us here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Check out all of his work covering the 76ers at NBA Krell on the X platform. Styles make fights, right? A lot of times in sports. And to me, I felt the Sixers had a good style matchup because the Magic were an inside-out team, right? So they were able to take advantage of that. The problem with Boston is they're an outside-in team. They're a team that can really make you stretch the perimeter. How can the Sixers attempt to counteract what Boston likes to do from the outside-in approach?
We back?
No, we're here. We got you. Yeah. Did you lose us? You were broken up there for a moment. So.
Gotcha. Okay. So I think your question was how do they counteract Boston with the inside out approach or the outside in approach? Correct.
Outside in approach. Yeah.
So number one, don't go zone. That's just like I think that's a recipe for disaster to try to go zone there. 3-point shooting is prolific. I think one of the things the Sixers have done all season long that to their own detriment is they've been pretty aggressive with throwing help on drivers. And so as a result, like they're leaving shooters open all over the place when they're trying to help. And I think that's a disaster. I think you play, and I think they did a relatively good job of this against Orlando. Though Orlando is not the shooting team that Boston is, but they would like sort of shade toward the ball a little bit earlier in help and then give themselves plenty of time and space to recover back. So if you're gonna throw an extra body towards the ball when it's in Jason Tatum's hands or when it's in Jaylen Brown's hands, don't overcommit yourself to that. It's not what you can't get back, because once they're kicking out the shooters, then you're in big trouble. I would try to keep it playing straight up if you can, with one-on-one defense. And then if they beat you by making contested layups and getting offensive rebounds, fine. But you just can't. I mean, the Sixers' offensive style cannot keep up with a team making 21 threes every game.
You just mentioned about, the fact that, keeping up, right? Are you talking about like keeping up in terms of like trying to slow the game down? Or are you in terms of keeping up in terms of like, hey, you don't want to have like lapses on offense and defense keeping up?
keeping up as in like they put up 3, you put up 2. They put up 3, you put up 2. You put up suddenly it's 9-4, 9-6, and you're down.
Right.
Like like you're matching shot for shot, but they're making 3s and you're making 2s, and eventually you're just going to lose the math battle. And I think this team stylistically, like Celtics take a million threes a game, and the Sixers do not take a million threes a game. And so if you're going to let them get open threes, like they're going to put 21 on your head. And you're not going to be able to keep up offensively with that unless you have Joel back, which you don't for game 1 at least. So I think that like you're going to have to bend your own principles that you've played with for most of the regular season a bit to have a chance. But I do think like if you can keep this game into you can keep this series into a bunch of 5-minute games where it's like every game is coming down to the last 5 minutes and it's a seesaw. There's your chance to win because you have a lead guard in Tyrese. You have Paul George, who is playing really well on offense right now. You have VJ, and the Celtics, as good as they are, like they don't have a great point guard anymore. They haven't. I mean, they got rid of Drew Holiday, obviously. They can be they're fast, so they can be a little bit turnover prone at times, but. Like if Jaylen Brown, who is their number 1 and has been for most of the season, if he's going to be the one to take over in crunch time, he's going to have to put the ball on the deck and make difficult shots. And historically, he's not been a great ball handler. He's been better at that this season. It's why he's kind of catapulted himself into the front of the All-NBA conversation. But historically, like he's struggled with ball handling. So the more you can keep this game close in crunch time and really just get up on the ball and put pressure, the more you might swing a couple possessions your way and suddenly you've stolen a game in Boston.
You just mentioned the elephant in the room, Joel Embiid, if he returns. What is the realistic, what is realistic about him at this point? Like, can we really realistically think he's coming back in this series, or do you think that's just a pipe dream?
Well, according to an Uber driver or a local, this person or that person who doesn't play basketball, they're back from their appendicitis in 2 days. So Joel should be back for the playoff series. And that's not to say anything of anybody else, but it's like not apples to apples.
Right.
I would say this: they have not ruled him out yet for the series. And I don't know that given their history, they would do that anyway. But the more this festers and the more you can extend the series, I think the likelier it is that at some point he is probably back. I've been saying this for a while, just having covered this team for 6 years. If they are tied 1-1 coming home, even if they're down 2-0 coming home, I think you'll hear a lot of like buzz about like he's ramping up, he's in rehab, like he's progressed, he's ready, and then it'll be a slow drip of like he's doubtful to he's questionable to he's playing. I don't think it's fair to him to put pressure on game 3. If he's not ready, he's not ready. But I mean, I've seen he's come back from a concussion or a fractured face well before he should have. And this is a core muscle or a core surgery, so. It's still be challenging, but I think the more that they leave the door open, the more likely it is he's back.
All right, let's get into the nuts and bolts about what if, right? So my biggest question coming into this series has to do with Paul George, and let's say Paul George goes out there and has a good series, right? Let's say he goes out there, maybe gets 2 steals a game, for example. He averages 18 points a game. Shoots like 38%, 40% for he has a good series. They lose, but he plays well. Is Paul George's performance a better omen for his future in Philadelphia or a better omen for his future as a trade asset?
So I am generally trade averse for most core players. He's looked excellent since he's returned from the suspension. And I think like a big thing of it is he's had a chance to really work on his game rather than working on rehab. And I think if he can stay healthy through the summer and work on his game, we're seeing like 40-year-old LeBron James do crazy things. And like, I think we've sort of challenged the ceiling of what a prime looks like now. And like, does it extend deep into the 30s? I don't think Paul is that guy, but I do think that he has stuff left in the tank. I think they'd be inclined to keep him because Joel is not movable, but just by logic, like no one's going to take a contract that big for a guy who played less than half a season the last 2 years. And if you have Joel and he's most valuable to you, there's no reason to trade Paul. You have a high potential core of VJ, Tyrese, Paul, and Joel. So I see it as like this is a step in the right direction for everybody. Maybe this is the lucky year and it ends up for Paul and he ends up being healthy, but Joel is not the one that's healthy. So maybe it's fool's gold for lack of a better term, but I tend to think like this Paul George can stay around for a while.
Now, again, we're projecting here with Austin Krell from Sports Illustrated at NBA Krell on the X platform here on Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. If the Sixers are to lose this series as we expect to Boston, there's obviously going to be a demand, right? There's going to be a demand for something to happen this offseason. So if you can't trade Embiid and you're not going to trade George and you're definitely not doing anything with Maxey or VJ Edgecombe, right? So like you're not overhauling this roster in terms of those guys. Is Nick Nurse no longer being here the most obvious quote unquote thing to change this offseason?
I don't know if it's obvious. I think there are two scenarios where he could be in a rough spot. One, he's already passed, and that's like if they got embarrassed in the play-in tournament, then I think there would have been real questions to be asked. If they get absolutely humiliated and they look like the worst coach team by a mile in the first round series, then yeah, I think there are questions to be asked. If this is a competitive series, I think in all likelihood they'll just chalk it up to saying like we couldn't have predicted that Paul George would have a 25-game suspension, that Joel would have missed a month with getting kicked in the rib or whatever it was with an oblique or having appendicitis, and they would probably say like, given all the adversity of the season, Nurse led them to 8 games above 500 and, to the playoffs. It's been a successful year, all things considered. So I think a lot will depend on how it looks in the context of this series. But I do think that if anyone is going to be on the line here, like the elite executive doesn't get to hire, 3 coaches usually. And then because usually by the time that the second coach is out, they're the ones who are next. So, I think if there's pressure on anybody, it's probably on the head coach because the GM isn't going to fire himself.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it sounds to me, and again, I'm not sure about words in your mouth, so please correct me, okay? It sounds like to you that you're basically saying that the organization is adverse to making any major changes this offseason, considering everything that happened this season.
I wouldn't say adverse. I would say, number one, you're firing a coach that has multiple years left on a contract, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm right. That may not be totally accurate, but I think it's at least one. And so you do owe money and you'd be paying him to go away, and then plus a new coach that you'd bring in. So that has to be a factor in all of this. I don't think they would be averse to it if it's the thing that's like the elephant in the room and everyone's miserable and furious at the way that this series plays out. And it's the easiest thing to change always is the coach. So if this goes down terribly and, then you say, yeah, we're going to make a change, and it's the head coach. And that's the easiest Band-Aid to pull. But I do think that there are some merits to the way that this season has played out. And there are ways that they could validly justify to themselves that, like, overall, given the circumstances of the season, it was not that bad. It was a pretty good season, all things considered.
He's Austin Krell from Warriors Sixers coverage. Check out all of the coverage over at SI at NBA Krell on the X platform. And he joined us right here ahead of Sixers Celtics Game 1 tomorrow. Pre-game coverage at 12:30 p.m. At the time and get us on the call at 1 here at home for Sixers basketball, 97.3 ESPN. Austin, appreciate you jumping on today.
Thank you, Josh. Have a good one.
Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN FM, 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City. Don't forget, Hanging with Hennig being brought to you by Caesars Sportsbook, the only sportsbook app with Caesars rewards. And that means every bet you place on every sport does more for you. More perks, more ways to play, more ways to win with Caesars Sportsbook. Earn perks on every wager, like hotel stays, bonus bets, game tickets, and more. Download the Caesars Sportsbook app now. Use my promo code RADIO, DYW. Then place your first bet of $1 or more for a chance to double your winnings on your next 10 bets. Whether it's the hockey playoffs or the basketball playoffs or baseball, whatever sport is yours that you like to play around with, rule your play with Caesars Sportsbook. Open to new users in New Jersey who are 21 or older. Max bet at $25 for boosted winnings. Max additional winnings, $2,500 per bet. Private boost tokens expire 14 days after receipt. See Caesars.com/promos for full terms. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Coming up next, we will dig deep into WrestleMania 42 this weekend with ESPN's Andreas Hale. Next, with Hanging with Hennig, Josh Hennig, 97.3 ESPN FM, streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig in the Dr. Squatch virtual studio.
It's Flyers Penguin Game 1 on 97.3 ESPN. The Flyers take on the Pittsburgh Penguins tonight. Listen as Tim Saunders and Todd Fedoruk call all the Flyers playoff action.
Zegras shoots, Zegras scores, it came on as fast as him went in.
It's Flyers Pens Game 1. Tonight, coverage begins at 8 p.m. on South Jersey's home for Flyers playoff hockey, 97.3 ESPN. And listen live on the 97.3 ESPN free mobile app.
Tired of cooking and planning all of your meals each and every day? You need Prevail Nutrition to simplify your life. For almost a decade, Prevail Nutrition is a local meal prep company located in South Jersey that allows customers to design their own meal plan. Or you can choose from a wide variety of chef-designed meals on their weekly changing Prevail Selects menu. You can order online for pickup or get free delivery on orders of over $50. Prevail Nutrition delivers to Atlantic and Cumberland counties along with Ocean City. Or you can pick up your meals every Monday and Friday. Learn more about how Prevail Nutrition can simplify your life. Visit their website at prevailnutrition.club. Check out Prevail Nutrition on Facebook and Instagram. Prevail Nutrition is my go-to choice for prepared meals and food. Order online, like me, at prevailnutrition.club.
Making your home look brand new is what Work of Art Construction can do for you. Ready to remodel your bathroom or have a kitchen makeover? Art Masker has 40 years of experience in construction and knows how to make your home look like a work of art. Want to install a new back deck or invest in a new front door? Just call Art Masker at 609-788-4271 to learn more. Visit Work of Art Construction on Instagram to see how Work of Art Construction can make your home look brand new. Beautify your home with Work of Art. Call him at 609-788-4271 and let them make your home truly a work of art.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
Hey, it's Mike Gill for my friends at the Branches Outreach. The mission at the Branches Outreach is to provide food, clothing, personal care item, and compassionate support to individuals and families experiencing homelessness in Cape May County. In the past year, the Branches Outreach has welcomed over 10,000 guests into their outreach center, served more than 12,000 warm meals for those in need. Imagine you didn't have enough food to eat or a place to sleep. That's why they can use your help. The Branches Outreach is privately funded through donations from good citizens like you. Your support is needed year-round. They also will accept donations of food, personal care items during the week from 9 a.m. to 1:30 at the Branches Outreach in Rio Grande. I'm urging you to give your support and donate today and help my friends at the Branches Outreach. Visit them online at thebranchesoutreach.org to learn more.
Is your trade-in stopping you from shopping? It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan. We need your trade-in today, and we're willing to overpay.
At Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Affinity.
AJ the trade-in man will pay you up to $4,000 over a Kelly Blue Book fair trade value for any trade-in in any condition, even if it's not paid off.
Come see us today at Matt Black Nissan and at Matt Black Infinity.
And the Buck Horse Pike in Egg Harbor Township. It's time to drop in some Matt Black Nissan.
Now back to Hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
I stood right there not too long ago, and I told the entire world, I said, call me what you want. Yeah.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
And there's nothing you can do about it, and that's not an insult. That is just a fact of life. Yeah.
Streaming live on YouTube and the X platform.
Josh Hennig back here on 97.3 ESPN. You know what this weekend is. It's WrestleMania weekend. And for ESPN, they have a crazy presence in Las Vegas throughout the weekend, not just because it's on ESPN Unlimited, which I have, by the way. It's also ESPN 2, Saturday night, 6 o'clock. ESPN, Sunday night, 6 o'clock. And don't forget, WWE Hall of Fame induction ceremony exclusively on the ESPN app, as well as WWE Countdown and post shows also on the app. And joining us right now to talk more about WrestleMania 42, it's Andreas Hale. Of course, he covers combat sports and pro wrestling for ESPN. How you doing today, my friend?
I'm doing all right, man. It's a very, very busy week.
It is a very, very busy week. And I kind of want to start big picture with you and then zero back in, okay? For you, looking at WrestleMania 42, for me, it's felt like a very long road to WrestleMania. We're finally getting to the nuts and bolts, right? No more talk, no more all the other stuff, right? For you, when you look at WrestleMania 42, there's a lot of first-time participants, right? There's a lot of big names that are being brought in for this weekend. Big picture for you, what are you looking at when you walk in to watch WrestleMania 42? Your takeaway, you think this weekend is going to be what?
It's about the future. I think you kind of mentioned it. There's a lot of first timers this year. Yeah, of course, we got CM Punk and Roman Reigns. We got Randy Orton chasing 15. We got Cody Rhodes. But then you got Javon Evans. You got Obafemi. Like, it feels like they're setting up their future through this event. You got to have the well-established stars and the big names. But I think the biggest issue with WWE for the past maybe half decade is they haven't established a new young talent that should be a main eventer. Obafemi has that opportunity this weekend. If Braun Breaker wasn't hurt, he'd probably have that opportunity this weekend. So I think it's really setting up for the future more than anything else.
You mentioned about Obafemi. Let's hit on that first, because this whole storyline with him and Brock Lesnar, right? And, my boss, he's kind of like one of those casual WWE guys, right? And he's asking me, he's like, what's an Obafemi? Who's Obafemi? And so what I did was I showed him, the first showdown when Oba basically, puts Brock almost through the mat. And my boss is like, oh, now I get it. Because I feel like when you see him next to Brock, that's the difference. And for me, I love this storyline where you really don't know who's going to win on Sunday when that is on ESPN, right? We don't really know, is it going to be the Beast? Is it going to be the Ruler? You really have no idea.
No, and I think that's the best part about it. I think for the first time, maybe since Brock Lesnar first showed up on the scene, we've had an imposing force that immediately felt like he should have the rocket strapped to his back and sent to the moon, right? WWE has fumbled bigger talents before when they've come in. This is almost can't miss with Obafemi. And you're putting him in there with Lesnar at WrestleMania, and Oba's been with the company for what? Outside of NXT, 6 months? Not even that, since his debut. There is a huge opportunity here. And I know we're saying we don't know who wins, but I'm going to tell you who should win. It should be Obafemi. Like, you got to set up the future now. Brock's on his way out. But if Brock's going to put somebody over, that's who you put over at WrestleMania. That's how you set up the future.
My only restraint is that semi-promo that Heyman cut at Raw, right? That was kind of a little too much, right? It felt a little bit too much butter being put on the bread there. And so that's why there's a part of me that wonders, do they set it up to let Lesnar win maybe by a technicality or something? And then Lesnar's like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm leaving again for a year. And then Oba can go on and maybe have a run at a SummerSlam for a belt or something.
I mean, it's possible, but I think if you want to establish Obafemi, he has to go over on Brock Lesnar clean. Like, it's the only way to do it. And it's not like Brock hasn't done this before. He's put over Seth Rollins clean. He's lost clean before. And the bigger thing is, you talk about SummerSlam, it's in Minneapolis, which is Brock Lesnar's home, which could be his retirement match, right? So if he loses now, you send Brock Lesnar on this warpath and set him up for SummerSlam for his retirement match. The best way to do it, to set him off on a warpath, is losing to somebody like Obafemi. So they have an opportunity here, again, to establish somebody. Brock Lesnar doesn't need the win. He just doesn't. He's just a guy that's been a menace for so many years in pro wrestling. He's lost, he's won, but he's made Oba look like $1 million. Letting Oba stand on his chest, pointing at the WrestleMania sign. If anybody looked, you kind of see Brock mouthing to Oba like, hey, man, put your foot on my chest. Make this look good. I think he knows he's putting this guy over. I don't even care about the match quality itself. I expect two big, meaty men bumping meat, throwing each other around, 12-minute match with a big finish. It ain't going to be a 5-star wrestling match, but I think it sets up everything. But Brock doesn't need to win this. He doesn't.
Well, they also need to get it done in time because they got the Intercontinental Championship coming on after that. They want those guys to have fun, flying all over the ring. They don't want to cramp their style by having Brock and Oba taking up too much time. So I think you're right about the time there. Andreas Hale joining us here, of course, covers combat sports and pro wrestling for ESPN. Joining us as WrestleMania is this weekend. ESPN Unlimited, the first hour each night of WrestleMania. Saturday night, ESPN 2. Sunday, ESPN regular. You mentioned a little bit earlier, probably the biggest match of the weekend is the CM Punk Roman Reigns. I don't even want to call it a fight. I feel like it's more of like a spite match. Like that whole promo they cut on Raw the other night where they're like, I hate you because of this, and I hate you because of this. Like, it's almost turning into like the fans don't even know whose side to take.
It felt like therapy, right? Like, I felt like that final promo segment was therapy between these two. Like, I hate you because you're all the things I couldn't have been. And I hate you because you're all the things that I couldn't have been. Let's sit on the couch and let's have somebody iron this out for us, right? But I think we got a really interesting match in the sense that CM Punk has waited a long time for this opportunity. Like, he's holding the title belt in the main event at WrestleMania. Roman Reigns has headlined WrestleMania, feels like 1,000,000 times, right? Ultimately, I'd like to see CM Punk walk away with the title. Roman doesn't need it. Just like Brock, he doesn't need it. He's a star through and through. But the bigger thing is what you hit the head on. I don't know who's the face and who's the heel. It feels like CM Punk is the face, but Roman still gets babyface cheers. So entering this match, who's going to be the weasel to try to cheat and get their way, and who's going to play it straight up? Maybe neither. We know the best version of CM Punk is heel CM Punk. We know the best version of Roman is heel Roman. Yet they're both baby faces in this match. So I'm very interested in how this plays out. I won't say it'll be match of the night because I got that reserved for something else. But I think the outcome is very intriguing. I think the build has felt like one big, long therapy session between a guy who changed the industry forever in CM Punk and a guy who kind of rode that wave to the next level, which was Roman Reigns.
You mentioned about the therapy part. I got to ask you, as someone you've seen a lot of things in entertainment over the years, right? I know you used to work in, a lot of the music industry as well. So when you're seeing a guy like CM Punk go on that rant a couple weeks ago, and he's kind of breaking that fourth wall and talking about the company. And we saw the previous week where, McAfee and Rose about the company. Like, what is your take on this? Because for me, my mind immediately goes back to the corporation 25 years ago, right? Where, like, are we potentially going down a company versus anti-hero road kind of situation?
I don't know, man. It's hard to call because CM Punk has always felt like the Seattle garage band, right? Like that breaks out and gets signed to a big record label and then takes off. And then some people hate him because they're like, you sold out. Well, other people is like, no, he opened the door for all of us. And I feel like that's always been CM Punk wherever he's been. But even now, it feels like CM Punk is closer to being corporate than he's been being a rebel. So I'm not sure exactly where the storyline is heading. And Triple H's long-term beef with CM Punk has been one thing, and they've played it out. It seems like they've hashed all of this out. But I'm very curious of how we play this anti-establishment role because, again, I have to reiterate, the best version of Punk isn't this version. It's the heel version of Punk that is like cool, cutting edge, and cuts promos on everybody. I just don't know. Even if he wins, do you realign him with Paul Heyman? Like, what is the plan here? I'm very curious. I don't know.
Let me ask you this, because I just thought of this. How much do you think the Netflix Unreal show has impacted maybe some of this? Like how much of us, not just the people who cover this, not people who are just the diehards, but now the casual person. Paul Heyman, remember he complained in one episode about how I hate this show. You're pulling the curtain back. Like the whole point of wrestling has always been, at least for me, and you can tell me if you feel it differently. For me, it's always been that like fine line between what's real and what's not, right? And so now with that show, now that question becomes amplified. Do you think maybe some of this storyline is maybe playing off of that?
A little bit. It's a good question because like, as much as I enjoy Unreal and I've been, I've covered pro wrestling for years and been behind the curtain for years. Like I've seen some of the things that other people don't see. It's an interesting show that kind of blends reality with what the WWE wants to show you, right? So I think there's a narrative here that's like, well, we can use this to try to figure out how our storyline should play out, to blur that line. Obviously, we're going to get another season of Unreal, so I'm sure that plays into it. And, if people saw Roman Reigns' interview on social media, writing in the back of the car, and I think everything that they've done a better job outside of the ring of building some of these matches than in, because it feels more authentic, right? And even Unreal.
I'm so glad you said that because, like I said before we got into this, like it's the idea like this Road to WrestleMania, I feel like the longest Road to WrestleMania of all time.
Yeah.
Like, does it not? Like it almost feels like it's like, all right, here we go, another week trying to stretch this feud out.
It's felt like. All right, let's just be honest. It's been a clunky build to WrestleMania, right? It just has. Aside from Oba and Brock, everything has had its start and stops, very clunky matches that were put together, and it feels like some of the builds haven't been very straightforward. Drew McIntyre losing the title felt weird, the way they played that. Randy Orton, the Pat McAfee stuff, we don't even need to go there. Like, we already know how strange that is. So it felt very clunky, but then you look at the press runs that some of the talent has done, and they've done a better job telling stories than when I watched Raw or SmackDown. So the intrigue is interesting because the authenticity of their interviews outside of the ring have felt cleaner than what's been going on inside of the ring. So when you ask about Unreal, it's like the blend between those two things are influencing narratives and storylines. And I don't know how much creative has to deal with, okay, let's lean into the reality a little bit. Then there's the corporate side of it, the TKO side of it, who I feel like is responsible for injecting the celebrities into this. And what do they want out of it? There's a lot of hands in the pot right now, and I don't know who wins at the end of the day when it comes to the outcomes on Saturday and Sunday.
Well, I think a perfect example, talking with Andreas Hale from ESPN, talking about WrestleMania 42 this weekend, ESPN Unlimited, ESPN 2, 6 p.m. is the start on Saturday night, ESPN Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, Sunday night at 6 p.m. I think a blurring of that real and unreal, a perfect example, is this whole Liv Morgan, Stephanie Vaquer situation. For those who might have watched SportsCenter this week, Liv is walking around with no makeup, with those bruises on her face from that whole situation. Now, listen, anyone who watched it knows she didn't get the bruise literally from Stephanie's attack. That was more of her and Roxanne clunking heads, right? But still, like, Liv is really leaning into it, right? She's like, I'm going to go do these interviews. I ain't going to wear makeup. You're going to see the bruises on my face. I think that match is a perfect example of, like, if you're the fan walking in, unless you have a specific side, right? Unless you were like a diehard Liv or a diehard Stephanie fan, the rest of everybody else is kind of like, I don't even know who I want to win because I kind of got a beef with both of these women.
Yeah, and I think that the beauty of the Liv Morgan situation is very reminiscent of Becky Lynch getting her nose broken by Nia Jax and the blood streaming down her face. And that was the precursor to her becoming the man, right?
Right.
Liv Morgan's taking a very real situation and is like, let's not dress this up. Let me go do these interviews with this knot on my head and these black eyes, right? Let's not put on makeup. And it makes you more interested in the match. Like I saw people on clips on her interview on Sports Day was like, that's not real. That lump is real, right? Like that. She got real bruises, but to lean into it, the authenticity of it all, I'm sure people are going to cheer for Liv Morgan anyway at WrestleMania, but I think it's added another element to the match. And I will say the promos these two cut on each other on Monday, the fighting that they had was excellent. It's an excellent way to build to that match, but you have to lean into the real a lot of the times to draw people in, especially on ESPN, where we're a sports network. Right. But there's a lot of new people that are going to be like, what is this? It's the first time I've ever seen this. So you got to make it feel as real as possible.
By the way, we are 97.3 ESPN South Jersey. So a lot of people in our area are rooting for Liv Morgan because she's a New Jersey girl. Speaking of another New Jersey woman, let's talk about AJ Lee, her feud with Becky Lynch. You mentioned Becky earlier. I don't know what to do with this match because I feel like you could, this is, again, you know what I'm talking about. Like, it's another match where you could make an argument for both sides. AJ wins, feud is over, she moves on. Or you give Becky back the belt and now Becky can go do something else. Like, I feel like there's so many ways you can go with this.
Yeah, I guess the real question is AJ Lee here for a long time or just a good time, right? If her contract suggests that she has a lot more matches to deal with, I think she holds on to the title. But if she's not here for a long time, drop it to Becky and let Becky run with it. She's been like a Looney Tunes character the past couple of months. Like her interviews have felt very animated. I need Becky to get back to that raw, real Becky that we had when she was the man. This feud is intriguing because I like Becky Lynch and I like AJ Lee and I like the idea of the past and the present, who paved the way. Their segment was really good on Raw. But we need some firm direction between these two coming out of this match. And I feel like if AJ's here to stay, then okay, it's fine and she can win. But I needed to set Becky on another path. I don't need the animated. Sports Illustrated calls me I don't need that. What I need from Becky Lynch is the one who was cutting everybody down, who was the man. That's who I need. I need that raw element of Becky Lynch. But it really dictated on how long AJ Lee's going to be here.
Yeah, it definitely does. Speaking of people who I need some clarity, there's one match this weekend that annoys the ever-living you-know-what out of me. And it's not because I have a problem with any of the people involved, but you just used the term, made me think of this. I need some direction for these people, right? I don't know if
I know where you're going with this. Go ahead.
Well, maybe you do or maybe you don't. The women's tag team match. The fatal four-way. I am so over this contrived, forced, trying to make all of them go against each other. Like anyone who's on social media knows most of these women are all friends, right? Like the fans know. They know Bailey. They know Charlotte. They know Alexa. They know the Bella twins. Like creating this I can't wait for this match to be over so I can move all of my life.
Yeah, this match, I mean, the way it's come together, like you felt like when Charlotte and Alexa Bliss were a tag team, that was like, oh, we're on the road to a breakup, right? Like, that's just a natural direction of a tag team. It was like, oh, we're doing this longer now? Well, why are the Bella Twins here? Wait a second. Nia Jackson, wait, in Last Legend of the Champs, wait, Bayley and Lyra Valkyria are still a tag team? What is going on here? I have no idea. And for me personally, this is just me personally, get this match out of here. I wish we had a pre-show that had matches. No disrespect to these women, but I wish we had a pre-show that had matches, and then we could put Io Sky and Asuka in like a cage match, because you've been building that story for almost a year. How do you not pay it off at WrestleMania, given what Io Sky did at last year's WrestleMania and how good Asuka is in the ring? Yet we have this really contrived and confusing tag match, and you know it's going to be clunky. 8 women in a tag match. It could be 8 men in a tag match. This has nothing to do with gender. It's just they're just clunky this way. They don't work out unless you put some tables, ladders, and chairs in there, and you're not. So we're just going to get a very weird tag match that I don't necessarily care about. Kudos to the girls. I hope they work hard, but man, give me Io Sky and Asuka.
And I'm glad you said that, because like last year I felt at WrestleMania, one of the best matches the whole weekend involved the women.
Hands down.
Was the Rhea Ripley, Bianca Belair, all those women in that. I mean, it's just like pure psycho athleticism on display. And now, but there's too many women in this situation. So like no one has really a chance to shine. It's like, how do I not run into you?
I don't know how this match works. Maybe they'll surprise us, but I don't think it's going to be a long match. I don't know which
interesting.
I don't think the storylines, I mean, there are other storylines in this match that I'm trying to make sense out of, which is Charlotte and Alexa and Bayley and Lyra. The Bella Twins, I don't know why they're even in this match. Great, I'm glad they're here, but why are we doing this? I don't understand what we're doing here, and why do we have this as your tag team title match again, where you could have had like the Usos and Logan Paul and Austin Theory straight up if you wanted to. Where are the Street Profits? What are they doing these days? Like, what is going on with the men's tag division? It's this one just feels like a complete mess.
I think that's where we go with the final point, which is you mentioned about the Usos, the Vision kind of against each other. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, I love the idea of LA Knight with the Usos against the Vision, but like sliding ISO Speed in there, just that is just the weirdest thing in the world. And I hate to put it this way, I just hope he doesn't get hurt.
You know what? I think ISO Speed is going to actually have a really great showing at WrestleMania. The kid is really athletic. The kid is really athletic. But to your point, LA Knight deserves better, right? Like LA Knight was over like a rover, and we couldn't get this man to win a Money in the Bank, a title match, or nothing. And he shoved into this Usos thing when I just remembered, weren't they super kicking each other not too long ago? Right? And now they're friends. And the Vision, which is like the eye patch now, because it's like a part of a vision. It's not 2020 anymore. It's a little contrived, a little confusing. And they're having this match to get over a YouTuber with another YouTuber. Credit to Logan Paul. He's been great in the ring. He's exceeded expectations. But this is a very, very weird match. And it feels like a way it's like, let's just get some influencers in the match and sell it on social media. All right, fine. That's what you want to do. Go for it.
I feel like also this is a perfect opportunity for the surprise of the weekend, which is Tom Brady show up and interfere.
Oh, God, no. Please. I don't want that. I don't want that.
It's in Vegas.
I know. I live in Vegas, Raiders, Tom Brady. I get it. I just don't want it. I don't want it. But if they do it, I totally understand why, right? I'm a purist when it comes to pro wrestling. You can give me some goo-goo and gaga here and there, but I don't need Tom Brady walking in, interfering, and throwing a really bad punch in the match. No, thank you. If you want real pro wrestling, this is my match of the weekend. It's my sleeper match of the weekend is Gunther and Seth Rollins.
Yes.
Gunther and Seth Rollins, to me, is understated and not talked about, just like when Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels wrestled at WrestleMania 21. And it ended up being one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time that nobody talked about heading into. It was like, oh, cool, these two legends are going against each other. I think Rollins and Gunther will be your match of the night. I don't need no nonsense. Those two need to just beat the crap out of each other. That's what I'm talking about when I love pro wrestling. All the other stuff, cool, but give me bangers. Give me 20-minute bangers between the ropes. That's what I'm looking for.
This is the one you just mentioned. This is the one I feel most confident about. I think I know the outcome.
Really?
Seth Rollins is going to win, and it's going to launch him for the rest of the year. I think that it's the idea of Gunther's going to walk in acting like he's the career killer, right? He keeps ending people's careers, and then Rollins is going to, quote-unquote, end him kind of thing.
May I retort? Let me give you what I think. Here's what I think is going to happen. I think Gunther's goes over. Here's why. He's lost to underdogs in 2 consecutive WrestleManias. Sami Zayn and Jey Uso, right? 2 people he shouldn't have lost to, but nevertheless, it happened. He's been on this career-ending tour. He asked Paul Heyman for a favor, in which we don't know what it is. Gunther going over sets up Gunther retiring Brock Lesnar in Minneapolis at SummerSlam, because that's the favor that he wants.
Very interesting. I could totally see Gunther retiring Lesnar for sure. I just feel like Rollins has so much like untapped potential. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Look, we have a piece coming on ESPN about it's a roundtable discussing WrestleMania, and I say it in my piece, so I'm not spoiling anything. I said I think Seth Rollins is this generation's Mr. WrestleMania, right? Shawn Michaels was that guy because no matter where you put him on the card, mostly main events, he always showed out. Seth Rollins doesn't have bad matches. We put him with Logan Paul. He didn't have a bad match. We put him with Kevin Owens during the pandemic. Didn't have a bad match. The opener that nobody talks about with Finn Balor and The Miz was an absolute banger. Him cashing in Money in the Bank. He always has these moments. I think, but still, there's a level that I haven't seen Seth Rollins hit that we all know that he can. Right? When we talk about pro wrestling, we look outside of the industry, outside of WWE, you look at the Will Ospreys of the world, AJ Styles with his run in TNA. Seth Rollins is that good in the ring. And I think we might get the best version of Seth Rollins at WrestleMania. And I think he's also a guy who doesn't need to win because he's that good. But to your point, like, I want to see him shine. I'm a big Gunther fan. I've loved him when he was Walter and running at Progress in GCW. If I want him to finally stop losing at WrestleMania, I need him to win, and I want him to end Brock Lesnar's career. That's what I want.
Maybe we both get what we want. Maybe Gunther can end Brock Lesnar's career and Rollins can win a WrestleMania, and we're both happy. How about that?
That works for me.
He's Andreas Hale. Check out all of his coverage of combat sports and the WWE over at ESPN.com. Don't forget, WrestleMania this weekend. It starts Saturday night. Tonight, ESPN 2. Tomorrow night, Obafemi, Brock Lesnar, ESPN. Of course, for all the matches, you want to get that ESPN Unlimited. Andreas, such a fun conversation. Appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Great stuff there. WrestleMania 42. Josh Hennig hanging with Hennig on 97.3 ESPN. Don't forget, it's a busy sports weekend. Flyers tonight at 8 o'clock. Sixers tomorrow, 1 o'clock. Phillies, Sunday Night Baseball, 7 o'clock. NBA playoffs all day today and tomorrow. NHL playoffs all day today and tomorrow. And the place to watch all the action, as well as have one of the best selections of craft beer on tap in South Jersey. Along with the 30 TVs, it's my friends over at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Spring into fun with friends and family and enjoy your next night out at Hang Time Bar and Grill, located on the White Horse Pike in Galloway. With live music every Tuesday night, DJ bingo every Wednesday night, and 30 TVs to watch your favorite teams play, good times and great food is waiting for you at Hang Time Bar and Grill. Check out Facebook and Instagram to learn more about Hang Time Bar and Grill's weekly specials and one of the best happy hours in South Jersey. On the White Horse Pike in Galloway at Hang Time Bar and Grill.
For 23 years, we've helped athletes at all levels at Clemic Performance Method, from youth to pros, increase maximum velocity, acceleration, vertical leaps, and general physical preparedness. We offer youth, high school, and pro college classes. Our proven results have earned national recognition from NFL coaches, sponsors, and a feature on ESPN Radio's Sports Science segment. You can contact me directly at 609-742-6190, or as always, visit us on our website, ClemicPerformanceMethod.com.
Need a new car and have no idea. It's got to be a matte black Kia.
26 matte black Kia Sportage, $139 per month. All new 27 matte black Kia Telluride, $339 per month. Plus, get up to $3,000 over KBB fair market value for your trade.
Matte black Kia, 6211 Black Horse Pike.
Hennig, Harbor Township.
It's got to be a Matt Blatt Kia.
24-month leases, $59.99 due at signing. Call 888-506-4132 for details. Offers don't combine, expires month end.
The comedy sensation Matt Rife is bringing his Stay Golden World Tour to Ovation Hall at Ocean Casino Resort in Atlantic City, performing not one, but 2 shows on Friday, July 24th. Tickets are on sale right now at theoceanac.com. Make your summer golden with Matt Rife at Ocean Casino Resort.
Must be 21 or older to wager or consume alcohol. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling has been proudly serving South Jersey for over 20 years. Owner Matt Calloway was born and raised in Cape May County and has over 25 years of experience in the heating and cooling industry, as well as fireplaces, plumbing, and bathroom renovations. You can always count on a licensed and insured local contractor like TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling to be there promptly and to fix your problem right the first time. If your home needs a little TLC, get TLC Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling today. Online at tlcphc.com.
Catch all the sports action this April at Ventnor Social. With 20 big screen TVs, you won't miss a second of our Philly baseball, basketball, and hockey teams, championship golf action, and pro football draft. The deck is open, the drafts are ice cold, and the game day food and wing specials are ready for you. And when the game's on break, jump into the arcade and create your own action. Catch it all at Ventnor Social, Ventnor Avenue in Ventnor. Check out their Facebook page for the latest specials and events.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. Oh!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down. At RK Kia of Vineland, all you need is $29. Even if your credit is so bad, your Nana won't loan you money. Plus, make no payments for 90 days. Save thousands with even pricing on new Kia Sportage, Sorrentos, K5s, the entire Kia lineup. Even the all-new 2027 Telluride. Plus acres of Kia certified pre-owned. And get 0% financing at RK Kia. Plus, you get RK coverage, no charge, ding repair, tire repair, wheel repair, windshield repair, and more. Save thousands and make no payments for 90 days. It's a $29 knockout deal. Every vehicle, $29 down for a limited time only at RK Kia of Vineland. RK does it right. MyRKKia.com. MyRKKia.com.
Qualified buyers plus tax entitled. For details, call 856-641-1111 or myrkkia.com.
When it comes to injuries, you can't afford to get it wrong. Insurance companies, they delay, deny, and pay as little as possible. Who's on your side? The law offices of Craig A. Altman. Car accidents, slip and falls, serious workplace injuries. They build cases to put real pressure on the other side. And you pay nothing unless they win. Don't guess, don't wing it. Call 856-327-8899 or visit CraigAltmanLaw.com. Local office in Vineland, backed by a Philly firm that knows how to win.
You're hanging with Josh Hennig on 97.3 ESPN FM.
People will come, Ray.
And on the 97.3 ESPN mobile app, powered by First Bank of Sea Isle City.
People will most definitely come.
Streaming live on YouTube, Instagram, and the X platform.
Josh Hennig here on 97.3 ESPN, wrapping up Hanging with Hennig. Got a couple of personal predictions before we get out of here. First of all, WrestleMania tonight. I do think that, so I kind of let it on a little bit earlier as well as with Andreas there. I tend to think that, I agree with him. People like Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes don't need the belt constantly to be relevant. I think CM Punk still needs the belt for relevancy. And so if he doesn't have the belt, you're kind of like, well, what's he doing then? So I think that's part of my thinking, at least for tonight. I do think Seth Rollins is going to get launched. There's a huge rumor running around that Nikki Bella has not been cleared to compete this weekend, and that there will be a replacement for her and or her partner, Brie Bella, in the Fatal 4-Way. So we'll see what happens. Rico chimes in the text board, says, Josh, I like to see Brady come after McAfee, and they both slice open their foreheads like the old days, and they both get counted out. Just a dream I had, says Rico. Listen, that would be hilarious if it happened, but it's probably not happening. Brady did so much trash talking. The fact that if he's not doing something at WrestleMania this weekend feels like a huge, I don't know, it feels like a huge missed opportunity, I'll say. A couple other things. My prediction is the Flyers win the series against the Penguins. I think they win this series in 6 games. I think the Flyers are going to split the series to Pittsburgh. They're going to come home, knock out the 2 games, and they'll find a way to win in 6 games. I think they get the better goaltender. I think the Porter Martone and Tyson Forrester effect on this team is incredible. I think the Sixers get the gentleman's sweep. Give them 5 games. They lose to the Celtics. Those are my predictions for the weekend. Thanks to everyone who joined me on the show today. Andy McNamara, Jason Myrtetus, as well as Andreas Hale from ESPN. That was a fun conversation with him. Austin Krell from Sports Illustrated, the Ivy Rehab Injury Report, Dr. Alan Shepley, and all of you listening on 97.3 ESPN FM, the 97.3 ESPN mobile app powered by First Bank of Seattle. Streaming live on YouTube and X at Josh Hennig. Like, subscribe, share with your friends. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Sunday morning in the locker room with Billy Schwein, producer Alex.